and never look back.
यार छोड़ो ये सारे hacks and simply learn to get ahead.
जैसे कि दानिश, a civil engineer turned data scientist who decided to simply learn.
और कैसे हुआ ये possible?
With a course from a premier university, मेरे करियर ने लिया एक नया डायरेक्शन.
True champion who upskilled to win big. How big?
A massive hike that transformed my life.
Danish changed gears pretty early in the race. But Prasan wanted to explore more to get ahead. इसीलिए उसने करा Simply Learn. From mechanical engineering to a data analyst and a podcaster in his free time.
ऐसा career transformation कैसे bro?
Simplilearn के इंडस्ट्री एक्सपर्ट से सीखा लाइव और खुद बन गया डेटा एक्सपर्ट.
इतना कुछ इतनी जल्दी डिफिकल्ट तो रहा होगा.
With a well-structured course, it felt like a piece of cake.
That is simply awesome. What's also awesome is that 9 साल के long career के बाद Nitin didn't choose a quick fix. He just added data science
into the mix. Nitin, how did you change the game?
Worked on real industry problems to become the real deal.
A joint family, a regular job, responsibilities तो बहुत थी, but nothing could stop Nitin from getting ahead. What an all-rounder.
Day ho ya night, with flexible learning, you can always make it right.
Passion या situation चाहे जो भी हो, नितिन, दानिश और प्रसन्न की तरह you too will find your way to get ahead when you simply learn. क्योंकि आपके लिए shortcuts नहीं, simply learn है सही. Get ahead with simply learn.
Recording in progress.
अगले 30 सेकंड्स में आप बदल सकते हैं अपने लाइफ का ट्रैक. एंड
Hi, folks. We'll be starting the session in a few minutes. So please get settled in and would love to know where are you joining from. So I'm Rasha Khan, I'm your host, and I'm joining from Bangalore, India. Would love to know in chat where are you joining us from. It's always good to network, right? These events before we start. So please do introduce yourself. I can see a few email IDs which I can't recognize the name. So for other folks, please do mention your name while you're introducing yourself where you're joining from before we start. So thank you so much for joining. Hi, folks. We'll be starting the free cloud plus DevOps masterclass in few minutes. Thank you for joining in. I can see the introductions coming in on chat. I can see Rahul has joined from Mumbai. I can see Praveen has joined from Pokhara, Nepal. Beautiful, beautiful. And I can see Lakshmana has joined from Hyderabad. Welcome. I can see Sundarajan has joined from Chennai. I can see Anshula from Maharashtra. So keep the introductions coming in. Would love to know where you're joining from. I am Rasha Khan. I'm your host for today's webinar, and we are going to be talking about how you can learn how to deploy a multi-cloud app. And also, bonus, we have a IIT Guwahati's program preview also included in Clouds plus DevOps. So after we will be covering that post project demo. Okay, I can see the introductions are still coming in, so please get settled in before we start the session. Also, just a quick tip before we start. You can put down your questions in the Q&A box. If you have any questions, please don't put those in the chat. We might miss it, even during the project demo, which we'll be covering. So I would suggest that you put down your questions in the Q&A box. You will just see that right next to your chat box, which you're basically messaging right now. So we get a lot of messages on chat, so we might miss those. So forgive us for that. Okay. Okay, so before we start, okay, folks have already started putting down questions there. That's great. So I'll just answer a few questions before we start as well. So basically, can we get the recording of this webinar? Someone has asked. So yes, you'll be getting the recording of this webinar, post-webinar over email. So in case you want to go through it again, you can go through the webinar once again. So I hope that answers your question. You let me know on chat or in the Q&A box. I can't see your name because it's anonymous. Okay, I can see a question coming in. What is a multi-cloud app? We'll be taking those when we do the project demo. I'm pretty sure there'll be an introduction for that. We have a very interesting session lined up for you folks, and we can't wait to start that. Okay, I think someone has asked again about the recording. So recording will be getting post-webinar. So don't worry about that. You can go through it once again in case you want to go through the project demo or program or any questions in general. I can see Azam has asked a question. I hope that answers your question, and I can see that name from your email. So sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong or a wrong name. I can see Sanjay has joined from Kolkata. I can see Satnam from Chandigarh. So I am Rasha Khan. I am your host for today's webinar. And we will be starting the free Cloud DevOps Masterclass pretty soon. We're just waiting for folks to get settled in before we start. Keep the introductions coming in before we start. It's always good to network, right? These events, right? And as you can see that folks are joining from different parts of India. And I can see a few folks have joined from outside of India as well. I can see Shamna from Dubai. So hello Shamna. I can see Saga from Uttarakhand. Beautiful place. I can see Kelvin from Philippines. I can see Priya from Pune. So let us know on chat where are you joining from. And if possible, please put down your name as well, because sometimes we don't get your name from your email ID. Hope you understand. I'm pretty sure you will have a lot of questions when it comes to the project demo, which we'll be taking today, on basically how you can deploy a multi-cloud app. And also, we'll be covering a program preview of IIT Guwahati's Cloud plus DevOps program as well in this masterclass towards the end. So stay tuned for that. And meanwhile, I can see folks are still joining in and giving introductions. So that's great. Welcome, everyone. I'll just put on my introductions as well for folks who have just joined now. I am joining from Bangalore, India. Would love to know if any Bangalore buddies here as well. Someone joined from Bangalore. And you can tell us where you are joining from. Let's network a bit, right, before we start. Okay, I can see Gautam has joined from Odisha. I can see Sumit from Delhi. So I think we have gotten a lot of introductions. Keep them coming in. And we'll start the session with few ground rules. As I said, that you can put down your questions in the Q&A box. I think folks have figured it out because I can see the questions coming in for the Q&A box. On chat, if you put down your questions, the session is long, we might miss it. We get a lot of messages on chat, so please forgive us for that in advance. And the session is being recorded. You can expect a follow-up email with recording link, webinar certificate, and bonus offer for attending this session. Bonus offer for the program, which you'll be signing up for, which we'll be talking about more towards the end of the session. And also to request a proof of attendance for this webinar, you can enter your full name in the webinar survey. So you'll be getting that once we end the webinar. There'll be a post-webinar survey. So make sure to enter your full name. So it will look great on the certificate for this webinar, right? So these are a few ground rules. Now, talking about the agenda, we'll be getting to know a little bit more about you. And we'll be going through a live project demo on how you can learn to deploy a multi-cloud app. Also, we'll be going through a program introduction of IIT Guwahati's Cloud Plus DevOps program, and also enrollment steps of that program. And also there will be a special duration for the Q&A part. So thank you so much for the folks who have joined and given introductions in the chat. So welcome again for everyone. Everyone's still joining in. I can see folks are still joining in. Before we start, let's start with a very quick poll. As I said, we'll get to know a little bit more about you. So how many years of experience do you currently have? You can see a quick poll on your screen. How many years of experience do you currently have before we start the session? So I can see the polls have started moving in already. Folks are pretty active here. When it comes to participation, I can see that energy already from you folks. So that's great. I can see introductions still coming in on chat. I can see Krisha has joined from Nagpur, Maharashtra, Aditya from Hyderabad, Naba Kubar from Delhi, Hitesh from Mumbai, Abdul from Hyderabad. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. We'll be starting the session. I'm Rasha Khan, your host for today's webinar. And we're just having a quick poll just to get to know you a little better. I'll just keep this poll for 10 seconds more for a few of the folks who have not voted. You can see a quick poll on your screen. So get familiar with the poll part. So we'll be doing that, a little bit of that in the session. So I'll be ending the poll in 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly share the results as well. As you can see on your screen, so folks who have joined us like in the maximum amount are folks who have more than 5 years of experience. So that's great. Half of the folks who have joined. And I can see almost 1/3 of the folks are currently studying. And also I can see some percentage of the folks have 0 to 3 years of experience, and very few of them have 3 to 5 years of experience. So that's great. And I can see the introductions are still coming in. I can see Perni has joined from Qatar. So welcome. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. By the way, please correct me if I'm wrong. So this program is powered by Simplilearn, World's online number bootcamp. We have 13 years of digital skills training experience, and we are very proud that we have professionally trained over 5 million plus professionals in over 150 plus countries, and we are very proud of that. We have a speaker here with us, Dr. Purushottam Asudani. Dr. Purushottam, welcome to the webinar, and we are looking forward to another project demo from you. Would you like to give us your introduction?
Yes, please. Thank you, Rasha. Thanks for giving the opportunity. Yeah, so welcome everyone, guys. Nice to have you all here. Right. So my name is Dr. Purushottam Asudani, and I am a solutions architect, technology enthusiast, consultant, and trainer, certified cloud professional, innovator, and educator. I've done my research, my PhD in resource scheduling in cloud from VIT Vellore. And I've as far as my certifications are concerned, I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, AWS certified trainer, AWS certified solutions architect professional, which is the top level certification on AWS in the architect domain, AWS certified solutions architect associate, AWS certified practitioner, Microsoft Azure certified architect as well, and a few more certifications as well, guys. And I've been involved in 2 trainings with Simplilearn and many other players. And of course, I of interest also include operating systems and resource scheduling in cloud. And I'm working as an assistant professor in Information Technology Department in Sri Ramdev Baba College of Engineering and Management, Nagpur. I'm a Google Scholar, corporate trader, have delivered multiple corporate trainings in multiple multinational companies in India, outside of India, just to name a few, like TCS, Capgemini, Mercedes-Benz R&D clients, Vodafone UK, Tavri Africa, etc. For AWS and Azure solutions architect level trainings. Right, then this is in short about me, and I would be happy to deliver you a demo on multi-cloud platforms today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Purushottam, for a great introduction. Let's go towards the live project demo, basically how you can deploy a multi-cloud app. Before we start, we have a very quick poll. So we would like to understand why exactly are you attending this project demo webinar today. So you can see a quick poll on your screen before we start the project demo. So you can see 4 quick options here. These are multiple choice questions. So you can select multiple options and submit it as well, because there can be multiple reasons for attending this webinar, right? So you can see the first one, I'm looking to become a cloud computing plus DevOps professional. The second one, I want to learn a new language or a skill. The third one, I'm here to understand if cloud computing plus DevOps is easy to learn. And the last one, I'm interested in working on new projects for my portfolio. So you can just quickly tell us why are you attending this webinar today. This will give us a better understanding on what exactly are you looking for when you are attending the webinars with Simplilearn. And yeah, I think I'll just give 5 seconds more for a few of the folks who have not shared. I can see a great participation in terms of poll that I can see most of the folks have already voted. So that's great. That's a really good start, guys. So I'll just end the poll in 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and share the results with you. And we can see the biggest reason why folks are attending the webinar today is they are looking forward to become a cloud computing and DevOps professional. So you're in the right place at the right time, I would say. We have a lot of things lined up for you. And I can see a few of the folks have voted, I want to learn a new language or skill. And a few of the folks, I'm here to understand if cloud computing or DevOps is easy to learn. And we can see a few of the folks have voted for if I'm interested in working on new projects for my portfolio. You're at the right place. We'll be covering a project demonstration after this. So I think you'll be getting a little bit idea about what you can do in terms of projects for your portfolio and the skills, the tools, the basically what career paths. We'll be covering that post project as well, if you have any questions for that. For folks asking about the webinar certificate, you will have to stay till the end of the webinar in order to get the certificate. And yes, there is a webinar certificate you'll be getting for this particular webinar or any particular webinar with Simplilearn. So now moving on to the project part. So the live project demo on multi-cloud architecture design for modern applications. So Purushottam, over to you. You're on mute if you're speaking, Purushottam.
Just a second. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. Right. Thanks, Rasha. Right. So multi-cloud architecture design for modern applications, guys. Correct. So let's just understand the concept a bit first on this, and then we'll go and we'll see the demo on the same. Right then, Rasha. Just can we have the next slide? Right, guys. So understanding multi-cloud architecture. So guys, what do you understand by multi-cloud basically? So see, multi-cloud means when you want to host your application, not just on one cloud platform, but on by using the services of multi-cloud platform. Because guys, normally in the organization, today is the era of multi-cloud. So you will not find your organization, whether you're working for X organization or Y organization, you will not find your organization just in one cloud platform. Okay. So it's like the point is that your organization may be using some services from one cloud platform and the other services from other cloud platform as well. Okay. So the point is that, guys, if your organization is, let's say, using some services from AWS and some services from Azure, well, they can do so. Why they can do so, guys? Because it's like they can find some services to be better with one cloud platform, some services to be better with the other cloud platform. And in fact, there can be multiple considerations. Like if it may be as far as the budgets are concerned. So some services may be offered to you in a cost-effective manner from one cloud platform and some services from the other cloud platform. And apart from that, see, I mean, if you'll talk about Gartner, which is a research organization, so they rate AWS as the market leader in the IaaS Magic Quadrant, that is infrastructure as a services, and Azure as the market leader in the PaaS-based quadrant, platform as services component. So then, I mean, you may prefer, let's say some services like PaaS-based services get it from Azure, IaaS-based services from AWS. Okay, so there can be multiple considerations, and based on that, you can actually decide that your organization can actually decide that they are going to go with one cloud platform for few services and the other for the other cloud for the other services. So the point is then you'll end up into multi-clouds, and then there is mechanism like you can always have communication among these cloud platforms, and that when you can communicate, well, you are doing it in multi-cloud platform then, correct? So the definition of multi-cloud is multi-cloud refers to the practice of using more than one cloud service, as I said, that either example AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, to host your various components of an application. Now, why multi-cloud matters? As I said, that multi-cloud offers redundancy, guys. Of course, it offers you redundancy also. So now, if you are, let's say, if you are deploying your website on servers of AWS and Azure both, so that is like having a redundancy. So you will have your servers not just on the server of AWS, but even on the server of Azure as well. So let's say for any reason, if the server of AWS or Azure goes down, well, your website will still be accessible from the other cloud provider servers, correct? So multi-cloud offers you redundancy, so you can keep your data redundant across the servers of multiple cloud platforms. And so that will give you improved performance. Your data would be always available. Your website would be always accessible. Then, of course, cost optimization would be there. Because, guys, as I said, that some services can be cost effective in one cloud platform, whereas some others in another cloud platform. So you can take the advantage, leverage them, different services from different cloud platforms. And of course, it will reduce the vendor lock-in also, because now here you are dealing with multiple vendors and you're not just dependent on one cloud provider. Okay. So that's there, and that's why you should go with multi-cloud. That's where it matters. Then benefits of multi-cloud. So of course, it gives you scalability. So you can just host your website on multiple clouds, and you can do it in a scalable manner. And then it provides you flexibility also. You are not just limited to one cloud platform, servers of one cloud platform, but you have multiple of them. Then disaster recovery, of course, guys. I mean, you can have your servers in different regions, in different cloud platforms. And then even if one of the region fails, I'll give you an example. Let's say if you are running your website, let's say any website, let's say Amazon, Zomato, any website, and you are running it on two servers in two different regions, and one region fails, guys. So your website will not go down because your website will still be accessible from another region. Correct? So you can have geographic distribution of resources that way. Yes. So, yeah, next, please. Yes. So then factors to consider in multi-cloud design. Okay. So now what factors you should consider while you are designing a multi-cloud platform? So while you're using multi-cloud services. Okay. So application workload analysis, guys. So assess the specific needs and requirements of your application workloads to determine which cloud are best suited for each component. Of course, you should assess your application, guys. It's not like that you will go in haywire and then you would decide that, okay, I am interested in using AWS, so I'll go with AWS. I'm interested in Azure, so I'll go with Azure. No, it's not like that. You should assess your needs, your requirements of your application, of your workloads. And then you should determine that which cloud will best suit your requirement. Okay, let's say if you are interested in only PaaS-based resources, then you can assess Azure. Okay, then because let's say Gartner is saying that that is the market leader. So is Azure going to fulfill my needs? What is my budget? Is Azure going to give me those services in that budget? So you should take into consideration all those things before deciding that which cloud platform you are going to use for which service. Then data management and security. So ensure data integrity, confidentiality, and compliance across multiple clouds, correct? So you should make sure. Now, it should not happen that if you are using multi-clouds, so it is not maintaining your data integrity or the confidentiality or compliance requirement. No, you have to be very, very sure on that. You have to be very clear on that, guys. Let's say if you're working for an intellectual property rights kind of a company. So guys, tell me one good thing, or for, let's say, a government organization or a defense organization. So if you're working for such organizations, are you really allowed to move your data outside the country boundaries? Let's say for defense organization or for government organization or intellectual property rights of kind of a company. So no, guys. So then in that case, you don't want to move your data outside the country boundary. Well, if you do so, you would be in problem. Your company can held you in create problems for you, correct? So at the same time, guys, while you are using, let's say, AWS or Azure, you have to make sure that these cloud providers are not replicating your data across the regions without your consent. They are not doing it automatically for you, correct? So you should make sure that thing, correct, when you are using multi-clouds as well. Okay. Then cost management. So implement cost monitoring and optimization strategies to avoid overruns. Of course, you can always apply monitoring mechanisms. You can always monitor your resources to make sure that you are not going outside of the budgets. Okay, so you can set up alarms wherein if you have a budget, let's say on your simple account also, you can keep an alarm wherein you can say, okay, $100 is my threshold. If I am using my resources and if they are charging me more than $100, give me an alarm. Give me an alarm on my website. Okay, so based on that, you can actually do whatever you are supposed to do. Then compliance and governance. So adhere to industry regulations and internal governance policies, as I already told you, correct? So that should be adhered to. When you are using multi-cloud platforms, you should make sure that those cloud platforms are satisfying your compliance requirements as well. They are not just replicating your data across the regions without your consent. Well, that should not happen. Next, please. Yeah. So that's there. Right. So then components of multi-cloud platforms. Okay. So how can you have a multi-cloud platform? So it can be a composition of two public cloud platforms, correct? Like AWS, Azure together. Okay. Or like it can be private cloud infrastructure. So you can have your on-premises or privately hosted cloud services to interact with each other, correct? Or even you can have hybrid cloud in picture, like you can have public and private cloud working in together. So that can form your multi-cloud as well. So multi-cloud doesn't just mean two public cloud platform. It can be a combination of a public private cloud as well. So that forms a hybrid cloud. So that can be a part of your multi-cloud as well. Okay. Next, please. Right. Then common multi-cloud architectural models, right? So you can have multi-cloud parallel model, multi-cloud distributed model, multi-cloud backup and recovery model as well. So parallel model means running different components of your application on different clouds concurrently, like you're running your website on different servers of AWS and Azure. Let's say Zomato website running on AWS and Azure together. Okay, so together it is running. So that is what parallelly it is running on different servers. So even if one server goes down, you don't need to bother. There is another server that is also running your website. Okay, the Zomato website. Or for that matter, if there are multiple customers and there is a lot of traffic, so that can be catered in a very easy manner from those different servers. Okay. That can be running in AWS, in Azure together. Okay, so it would be easier to do that. Then if you are using it in distributed model, then it will distribute an application across multiple clouds to enhance the availability. So of course, again, your application, your Zomato application will not run on one server, but it would be distributed on AWS plus Azure servers plus GCP servers, let's say, and then it will give you high availability. So if AWS servers are down, the Azure servers and maybe the GCP servers will take care of the things for you. Okay. Then backup and recovery model. So you can use it in a blue-green deployment kind of thing also. Well, I am going to do that only today, right? So in backup and recovery model, what I'm going to do basically, guys, we are going to just have our servers in Azure and AWS, and we are going to deploy, let's say, our website on Azure and AWS servers. Okay. And then we are going to make, let's say, AWS servers to be our primary site and Azure servers to be our secondary site. So then the point would be that you can deploy the same website on AWS and Azure servers, but then all the users request for that website, their request can just go to AWS servers. Okay. And when the AWS servers are not working, when they are down, then only the Azure servers can be used for accessing the website. Okay. So it's like blue-green deployment, wherein one platform servers like AWS servers would be used for your website, for serving the website content to the users. And when the AWS servers are down, then only the Azure servers would become the primary site, and then they can serve to the user's request, but not till the point that AWS servers are running. So that is something that you can do it in backup and recovery model. Like you can just use the Azure servers as a backup. If the AWS servers are down, then only the Azure servers would become active and would serve the user's request. How would one cloud platform know other cloud platform is down? Okay, so we will employ a balancer, load balancer for that. Let's say Route 53 in AWS or for that matter, Azure Traffic Manager in Azure. Correct. So I'm going to show it to you how that will come to know. Correct. Okay. Next, please. Yeah. Then, of course, design best practices. So, guys, while you are designing your multi-cloud, so you should have API standardization. That is application program interface standardization. So standardized communication protocols and APIs to facilitate the integration. So you should have the common API, that standardization. Data interoperability should be there. So ensure that data can be easily shared and synchronized across the cloud. Of course, that is very important, guys. So if you are using multi-cloud, so your multi-cloud should be able to communicate with each other, correct? So data interoperability should be there. Data interoperability, correct? I think correct pronunciation, right? Then load balancing and redundancy. Of course, we'll implement load balancing and redundancy for high availability. So we'll make sure that our servers in AWS and servers in Azure will get the load from the users with the help of a load balancer so that it is balanced. And then no server would be overly loaded, and then no server would be lightly loaded. They will be equally balanced. They will be equally loaded, I would say. Then disaster recovery planning. So we'll develop robust disaster recovery plans and test them regularly. I'll show it to you guys that, I mean, if I'll make sure that my website is running on AWS servers and Azure servers. And initially the user's request will just go to AWS servers. And then we will manually shut down our AWS servers as if they goes down. And then we'll see that the user's request will start going to the Azure servers. Then I'll show it to you. Okay, fine. So that's there. Next, please. Okay, so case study on real world example of multi-cloud in action. So let's go and let's see this. But before, Rasha, I would like to see the architectural diagram. Can we have that so that I'll just make them understand the next slide? Okay. No, next after this. Okay. Yeah, this one. Okay, good. Fine, thank you. So this is the final design architecture, guys. So this is what we plan to do here. Okay, this is what we are going to do here. So what I'm going to create is I am going to create servers. I'm going to create multiple of these servers in AWS and in Azure. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to create 2 servers in AWS, 2 VMs in AWS, virtual servers, and 2 servers, 2 VMs in Azure, guys. Okay, and of course, when we create the servers, guys, we have to do it inside a virtual network and the subnet. So the virtual network and subnet in AWS is called as VPC and subnet. Okay, so we can design our own VPC and subnet, but of course, we are not going to do that because, well, then we'll deviate out of this topic. So we will use the default VPC and the default subnet in which we will create our 2 servers. Okay. And in AWS, and then in Azure, that network is called as VNet. Okay, so in Azure also we can create our own VNet and subnet, but we'll use the default VNet and default subnet in which we will create our servers in Azure as well. That is the VMs in Azure. So 2 VMs in AWS, 2 VMs in Azure. Okay, and then we will make those VMs to work as web servers because we are going to deploy our website on those servers. So guys, for a VM to work as a for a server to deploy a website. So if we want to deploy a website on a server, so we have to make sure that we have installed the web server functionality on that server, correct? So if we want our VMs to deploy our website, so we have to make sure that those VMs are working as web servers. So we will install the web server functionality on those VMs. Let's say Apache server functionality, IIS server functionality. So we'll do that, guys. Okay. And apart from that, so we'll make these VMs to work as web server, and they'll be accepting our internet traffic, HTTP traffic, hypertext transfer protocol traffic. So we'll be able to deploy our website on this. We are going to create load balancers, one in AWS, one in Azure. Okay, so let's say in AWS, I'll create an application load balancer, which works on layer number 7. That is the application layer. And in Azure, I'll create a network load balancer, or maybe the Azure load balancer, which works on layer 4 of the OSI model, Open Systems Interconnect model. Now, I'll not be able to go into the details of the load balancers, the theory part of it, but I'll just show you the stuff into it. And I'll just tell you in gist that a load balancer's task is to balance the load across your VMs so that no VM is lightly loaded and no VM is heavily loaded, correct? So the point is, in Azure, we'll use a load balancer. In AWS, we'll use a load balancer, and that load balancer's task would be to give the user's traffic across the VMs in a load balanced manner, like so that no VM is heavily loaded, no VM is lightly loaded. And that makes a lot of sense, guys. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say when you use Amazon.com. So your Amazon website is running on multiple servers, isn't it? Not just on one server. So when you browse amazon.co.in, guys, so basically that Amazon website is running on multiple servers. So where your request is going to go, so that will be decided by the load balancer. And let's say if the load balancer is forwarding all of the users traffic for Amazon website to only one server, and there are 100 more servers which are sitting idle. So what will happen? That one server will get heavily loaded and the other 100 servers are lightly loaded, and that the website's performance will go down and the website can crash also, correct? So that should not happen. So then the load balancer's task is what? To balance the load across these servers, so that some users traffic for Amazon website is going to server 1, some users traffic is going to server 2, some users traffic is going to server 3, and so on. Anyways, all those servers are running the Amazon website. So if the users traffic is load balanced across these servers, well, the users can see the response from the website, Amazon website, and can see the website running faster. And that's how it can improve the performance of the website, guys, correct? So here the load balancer also will do the same task. It will balance the user's traffic across these servers. Now the point is, guys, from where the user traffic will come? The traffic will come from the internet, correct? So the user traffic will actually come from the internet. Okay. Let the user traffic come from the internet, guys. That's not a problem. But then how will you make sure that, okay, the user's traffic is going to where? To the Azure servers also and to the AWS servers also. So, or to the Azure load balancer also and to the AWS load balancer also. So for that, we will make use of either Route 53 service in AWS or Azure Traffic Manager in Azure. So let's say I'll go with Route 53 service in AWS, which is nothing but a DNS service also. Plus, it can balance the load across different regions. And let me tell you guys, Route 53 has different routing policies through which it can send the traffic to your Azure and AWS service, AWS load balancer or the servers. So now we will be using one of the policies of the Route 53, that is the failover routing policy. I can use weighted routing policy, or other routing policies are also there. Geolocation, latency-based routing, failover routing, and so on, guys. There are multiple policies, but I'll not get into the details of that, because otherwise that would mean like I'm discussing the concepts of Route 53. Well, I'm here to tell you the demo on this, right? So I'll not get into the details of those policies, but let me tell you, just in case, if you're using weighted routing policy, so you can decide, so you can use both these sites in parallel, active mode, and you can say Route 53 that, okay, 50% of the users traffic send it to AWS servers, 50% of the users traffic send it to Azure servers. So that way both the sites will work together. But guys, if I'm using failover routing, well, I can use it for disaster recovery purposes, DR purposes. Okay, now you know DR purposes, guys. So let's say if my AWS, let's say if you have your servers in multiple regions, guys. Let's say in multiple regions, you have your website running on multiple servers. And God forbid, if there is a natural disaster in one of the region and the entire region goes down, guys, so then also you will still have access to your website from another region, because the website was running not just in one region server, but in multiple region servers, correct? So if one of the region goes down, well, the website will not go down, because the website will still be accessible from another region, guys. So guys, that's why they say that people may die, but the data won't die, but the website will still be running, correct? So in the same way, what you can do here is like we will be running our website on Azure and AWS, maybe in same region or maybe in different regions, and then we'll make sure that this Route 53 with the failover routing policy, it will just send users traffic, all the users traffic, which would try to visit our website, to just one region, that is the primary region. Let's say we make the primary region to be AWS. So Route 53 will send all the users traffic to AWS region only, correct? To AWS servers only. And let's say if the AWS servers goes down, okay, then what Route 53 will do, it will make the secondary region to be primary with that failover routing policy, and then it will automatically happen, okay, with that failover routing policy. And then all the users traffic which was going to the primary region will now go to the secondary region, will now go to the Azure servers, correct? So in secondary region, you can have the Azure servers, correct? So that's how Route 53's failover routing policy will use, guys. So we will send all the users traffic that would try to visit our website to just the primary region, AWS servers only initially, and not the Azure servers which are there in the secondary region. And when the primary region will go down, then all the users traffic will stop going to primary region, AWS servers, but will then start going to the secondary region, that is the Azure servers. And that's how I'll show it to you, this particular demo, guys. And our website, well, we need to register. We need to have a domain name registered with a domain registrar that we can use it as our website. So let's say cloudcognoscente.co.in. I have it registered maybe with GoDaddy, guys. So I can just use that. And apart from that, Route 53 is a DNS service also in AWS, apart from capable of load balancing the load in different regions with different routing policy. It's also a DNS service. So that also I will use to make sure that I am going to provide a name to my website, that is cloudcognoscente.co.in, right, guys? So that's what I am going to do. So this is how we are going to implement it, right? Rasha, so can we just go 2 slides before? Maybe the functional and non-functional requirements. Yeah, so the functional requirements of this particular website would be, guys, the user should be able to post the content. Of course, if you are using any website, let's say a dynamic website, so the user should be able to host the content, post the contents, correct, with multi-cloud or any application, and should be able to update the contents as well if they need, correct? And then the non-functional requirements maybe have the next slide. Yeah, so the non-functional requirements are, guys, that it should have high availability, of course. So of course, we'll achieve that high availability because we will be having our website not just in AWS, but in Azure also. And apart from that, guys, maybe have the diagram again, please, the next slide. Yeah, so apart from that, like in AWS or in Azure, we can run our servers in different availability zones, guys. That is in different data centers. So that even if one data center goes down, one availability zone goes down, well, it would mean that one server will go down, but the other server which is running your website in AWS or in Azure will still be running your website, correct? So that will provide you high availability. So we can just create our servers in multiple availability zones for high availability, correct? So that can satisfy the non-functional requirement as well. Yeah. Can we have one before slide? Then the third one is non-functional requirement. Yeah. So we should be able to access our website anytime, guys. Correct? Of course, yes. We want to do that. We should be able to access our website anytime, guys. So we can be able to do so because we are going to have our website highly available, and that's how we can be able to do it. And of course, we are planning for disaster recovery. As I said, with failover routing policy, if AWS servers from one region will be down, then the another region, Azure servers, can still serve your website content, correct? So that's why we'll have high availability, and we'll be able to access our website at any time. Fine. All good. Yeah. So let me now go and let me just show you this demo, guys. Okay, so as I said, we will be creating, so just see this diagram once more. I'm going to create 4 servers, guys, 2 in AWS, 2 in Azure, and then I'm going to create 2 load balancers, 1 in AWS, 1 in Azure, and I am going to use the Route 53 service then in AWS. So first I'm going to go to AWS and I'm going to create 2 servers in AWS along with a load balancer, and then I'm going to go to Azure and then create 2 servers in Azure with a load balancer, and then I'm going to go to AWS and I'm going to use the Route 53 policy, guys. So shall we go and see this then? Yeah. So may I just have the screen? So shall I share the screen then? Right.
Yeah, sure. You can.
Sure.
I stop
Thank you.
sharing screen. You can go ahead and share.
Thank you. Right then.
Folks who have questions related to the project demo, you can put down your questions in the Q&A box. So Dr. Purushottam will try to take as many questions as possible about the project part. So please do that.
Right, guys. So I'm just logging into my AWS console first. Okay, AWS account first. And let me just log in here. Put the username and password. And here I am in AWS account. Okay, fine. So we are here. Now let's create the 2 servers, guys. So there is a service in AWS called as EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, that helps you to create the servers in AWS. So I'll just go to EC2 and I'm going to create the servers in EC2. Okay, so I'm just going to create, let's say, Linux servers in EC2. So I'll just go to instances and I'll go and do this. Okay, just close this. Yeah. So I'll say launch instance or virtual server or server in cloud, one and the same thing. Okay. So I'll give this VM a name, let's say VM1, or I can just name it, let's say AWS VM1. Correct. And I'm just creating it in North Virginia region. Correct. So that's good enough. Then I have to select the operating system for this. So let's say I'll go with Amazon Linux. Okay. And then I'll go with Amazon Linux 2 AMI as the flavor. I can go with Windows or Linux OS. I'm going with Linux OS, Amazon Linux flavor 2 AMI. Okay. Then the 64-bit OS, that is good enough, right? 64-bit architecture, sorry. And then instance type will define the RAM and the CPU capacity for my virtual machine. So let's say I'll go with T2 micro. Well, there are different sizes. You can go with T family, M family, and there are different families, guys, correct? And in each family, you have different sizes. Like in T, you have T2 micro, T2 nano, and so on. T, M family are preferred for general purpose usage. Likewise, there are other families which are preferred for different use cases like machine learning use cases and so on. So T family, in this, you will get less on the number of CPU and the RAM capacity. I'm good with general purpose usage, guys. Okay, so I'll go with T2 micro, which gives me 1 vCPU and 1 GB of RAM capacity. Then key pair. So see, if I want to connect to this virtual machine, I need to create a key pair. I need to create a key pair if I want to connect to this virtual machine from my laptop, maybe. Okay, sorry, through PuTTY, then I'll need a key pair. Anyways, I can connect directly also, but let's create a key pair. So I'll say my KP and today's date. Let's say my KP 27/9/23. Okay, I can give any name. Okay, I'll just create this. Then in the network settings, as I said, I'll go with default VPC and default subnet. So that's good enough. Okay. And if you want to create it in different subnet, different availability zone, well, you can choose it from here. But just for the purpose of testing it out, I'll just go with the default VPC and default subnet. And then may it be created in any availability zone. I'm not bothered with that. Then security group. So I'll just go with SSH traffic if I want to connect to this virtual machine from my laptop. Okay, so basically that I can do. Security group is nothing but the firewall for a virtual machine. So here I'm saying that traffic I want to allow from which protocol I want to connect to this virtual machine from where, like from my laptop. If I want to allow connecting to this virtual machine, I'll have to allow the traffic to come from SSH that works on port 22. correct? Plus HTTP I'll allow, guys, because see, I told you, I'm going to make these servers to work as web servers, guys, correct? So I am going to make these servers to work as what? As what? As web servers, guys. And if I want to make these servers to work as web servers, well, then as I said, that if I want to make these servers to work as web servers, guys, so I will have to install the IIS functionality or Apache functionality on these servers, the web server functionality, plus I will have to allow the traffic to come onto these servers from internet. So the web traffic comes on which protocol? HTTP protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, which, well, that works on port 80, correct? I'll not go with HTTPS. That also allows web traffic, but then HTTPS is hypertext transfer protocol with secure. So I don't have a third-party certificate, so I'll just go with HTTP. That is good enough. Storage, this is the hard disk storage for this virtual machine. I'm good with that. Now, I want to make this server to work as web server, as I said. That's why I'm allowing HTTP traffic also from internet. So guys, for making this VM to work as web server, since this is a Linux VM, I'll just install the Apache functionality on this VM. So I can just connect to this VM and install the Apache functionality, but that will take more time, guys. So what I'll do is I'll just install the Apache functionality on this VM with the help of with the help of a script right here. So I'll just go to advanced details and I will give the script here in the user data, guys. So I'm just going to get that script and I'm just going to put it on this VM, that particular script that will make this VM to work as a web server, correct? So I am just going to put that script here, guys. Okay, that bash script. Okay, so let me just give that script here. Okay, I'm just going to give that script. I'll just explain you what is in the script basically. So I'm writing it in shebang format, hash bin bash. Then I'll say yum update y, that will update the Apache server. Then I'm saying yum install httpd that will install the Apache server, guys. Then I'll say service httpd start, so that will start the Apache service. Then I'll check. So I'll see check configuration, check config httpd on. So that will check the configuration whether the Apache service is running or not. I mean, if my server restarts, so the Apache service should also restart automatically. So that is possible with check httpd on. Then I'll go to the default location of Apache, that is cd where /www/html. Okay, and then in that I'm creating index.html page, and in that I'm writing hello world. Okay, I'll just remove this. Okay, so now instead of writing hello world here, I will just write. So guys, I can put my complete website content here in index.html, but just to differentiate here, I'll just create this simple index.html with a simple content here, wherein I'm going to write what is hello world. I am from AWS VM1. Okay, just to differentiate, guys. So when the request would be served from this AWS VM, the users will see the answer, or the users will see what message in their browsers as hello world, I am from AWS VM1, correct? So when the request will be answered by this VM, this server, correct? So that's why, to differentiate it, I'm going to provide different messages for different servers. So here I have hello world, I am from AWS VM1, okay, in index.html. So this is good enough. And let's launch this server then, guys. And then I will create another server in AWS as well. Sorry. So let me go to instances again and let me create another server. And this time I am going to put a different script. Okay, in this, that the message would be different. The VM creation steps would be the same. So I'll say AWS VM2 maybe here. And then I'll go with Amazon Linux 2 AMI again. Then what 64-bit is good enough. Then instance type, I'll go with T2 micro. Then key pair, I'll just go with the same key pair which I've used with my first VM. The network settings, I'll just go with SSH from anywhere and HTTP from internet. The same traffic. Storage, I'll go with 8 GB of storage. The same thing, guys. In the advanced details, I will again go with that script that will install the Apache functionality. But I'm going to make a change here, guys. I'm saying, hello world, I am from AWS VM2. Okay, so now, guys, when the users request will go to VM2, well, he will see the website response in his browser as saying what? Hello world, I am from VM2. And when his request will go to VM1, so it would be, the response will be hello world, I am from VM1. That is what the response he will get in his browser. Okay, fine. So let's launch this server as well. Right, guys. So we are having this good. Now, let's go and create a server in AWS. Okay, so I'm going to, sorry, let's go and create a load balancer in AWS. So I'm going to create a load balancer in AWS, and I'm going to go and create an application load balancer in AWS, which works on layer 7 of the OSI model. OSI, Open Systems Interconnect model, has 7 layers. Okay. And that is, I remember it as APS TNDP. Okay, that is application, presentation, session, network, session transport, network, data link, and physical layer. So your application load balancer works on layer 7. That is the application layer. Okay, that means it can handle HTTP and HTTPS traffic. So let me just go and create a load balancer. So that is available in EC2 itself. In Elastic Load Balancing, I'll go to load balancer, guys. But before I'll go to load balancer, guys, I will need a security group for my load balancer. So I'm going to create a security group, because see, on your VMs, you have allowed traffic on your VMs. You have just allowed what? The traffic to come from where? On your VMs, you have just allowed the traffic to come from HTTP, from internet, correct? So on your load balancer also, you'll have to allow the traffic to come from internet, the web traffic. So you'll say HTTP from anywhere. So I'll just create the security group for that load balancer first, and then I'll go and create the load balancer, and I'm going to supply that security group in my load balancer. So I'll go to security groups, and I'll say create a security group, and I'm going to assign it a name. Let's say LBSG. Okay. I hope, guys, it's not going fast, because I am going a bit fast here because it's somewhat a lengthy scenario. And I know you may be having other assignments also. So just to finish it off, maybe in the best possible time we can. So I'm going a bit fast. Okay. So LBSG is the load balancer security group I'm saying. And then in the inbound port rules, so here I'll allow traffic to come from HTTP. Okay. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. From where? From anywhere, guys, anywhere IPv4. Okay, so HTTP from anywhere IPv4. Okay, correct? Okay, guys, so that's good enough, and that is it. And then outbound port rules, anyways, all traffic is allowed to go out by default. That is good enough. I don't need to work with that. And I'll say create the security group. Now let's create the load balancer, guys. Okay, so I'll go to load balancers. So I'll go to load balancers, and I'll just go and create this load balancer, guys. So I'll go with application load balancer. As I said, you have multiple types of load balancers here. Okay, so I'll just go with application load balancer, and I'll say what? Create this load balancer. And then what? I'm going to assign it a name. Let's say my AWS LB1, that is load balancer 1, whatever name I can assign. Now, of course, it's going to accept the traffic from internet. So I'll have it internet facing. If it is going to accept the traffic from internal resources, then it would be, I'll select internal load balancer, but here I'll go with internet load balancer, internet facing. IPv4 address it will work with. That's good. I will go with the default VPC and let this load balancer work in all the availability zones, guys. Now, this is important. Why? Because your VMs can be in different availability zones, guys, correct? And so if you want this load balancer to balance the traffic across those different VMs, which are in different availability zones in East US, so you should make sure that this load balancer is working on a different availability zones here, correct? I mean, in all the availability zones. So you can just duplicate this tab and you can see where your VMs are, right, guys? So I can just go to EC2 and I can just show it to you. So if I go to the instances, maybe. So if I go to the two VMs here, so if you just go to your VM1, you can see its availability zone. Or there itself, you could have seen it. So see here, my two VMs are in availability zone 1D only, but then they could have been in different availability zones, or in future you may deploy more VMs for your website, and then they can be in different availability zones as well. So for that, your load balancer should have the capability to balance the load, to actually balance the load across your VMs in different availability zones. And that's why I'm just having my load balancer's existence in all of the availability zones, so that no matter where my VM is in East US, US East North Virginia, the load balancer should be able to balance the traffic across those VMs. Correct? Then security group, I will give that security group which I have created, guys. So I'll just remove this default security group, and I'll give that load balancer security group, which allows HTTP traffic from anywhere. Fine, all good. Then guys, see, load balancer will listen to the traffic. Okay, fine. So your load balancer is listening to your traffic, guys. Is accepting the traffic from internet. But then after accepting the traffic from the internet, guys, it has to listen to that traffic, isn't it? So while it has to listen to that traffic, guys, there should be some listener. Like we have ears to listen to the traffic, to listen to the noise and the useful information. Maybe something, if it is a useful information, what I am telling you, you are able to hear it with your ears. Correct? So in the same way, the load balancer can also listen to the, once it receives the traffic, the application load balancer, it can listen it on a listener. Correct? So there has to be a listener on which the load balancer will listen to the incoming traffic, as you can see in this diagram. Correct? So the point is that it will listen to the traffic. And again, since the traffic is coming on port 80 HTTP port, so it will listen it on port 80 HTTP port. And then finally, it will give that traffic to where? It will give that traffic to the VMs, to your VMs in the backend pool. Correct? To these VMs in the target group. It is called as target group of your load balancer, where it will give that traffic. Correct? So now, guys, tell me one good thing. Have I added the VMs in the target group of the load balancer? The answer is no, because I have not created the target group for my load balancer as well. Correct? So I need to create a target group. I need to put these VMs in the target group, and then the load balancer will be able to send the traffic to these VMs in the target group. So I'll say create a target group. Okay, so another tab opens up. And then in that, I'm going to create a target group. And see, with that target group, I am going to send the traffic to my VMs. Okay. So I'll say choose a target type as instances and not other Lambda function or IP addresses or another application load balancer. No, it has to be my VMs where the traffic has to go through this target group. So I'll give this target group a name. Let's say TGP1, target group 1. Okay. And then, of course, the VMs will accept the traffic again on port 80 HTTP port. And then what? Health check. So that will check the health of your VMs, guys, in the target group. Okay. So let's say out of the two VMs, if one VM is not running, guys, so should the load balancer be forwarding the traffic to that VM? Of course not, because otherwise the users will feel like that website is not running. So if one VM is not working, is down, so the load balancer should not forward the traffic to that VM. So that's why it should check the health of the VMs. Okay. And that it can check through health check settings. So it will ping the VMs through health check settings. So here the settings are, let's say in every 30 seconds, the load balancer will check the health of the VMs in its target group. And then it will wait for 5 seconds. Timeout is 5 seconds. So it will wait for 5 seconds to get a response from those VMs. And if it gets a response from the VMs, then it will see to it that if it is getting the response from the VMs for 5 times consecutively, then it will declare that VM is healthy. And once that VM is healthy, and if the load balancer is not seeing a response from that VM, then it will check that VM twice before declaring that VM as unhealthy. So if it doesn't receive the response from that VM for 2 times consecutively, then it will declare that VM as unhealthy and will stop forwarding the traffic to that VM. You can always change these numbers. Okay. So anyways, I'm good with these health check settings, and you can also specify a file which it can check or ping on that VM to check the health of the VMs. Okay, fine. So I'll go with these defaults, guys, and tags are optional. I'll not change it. I'm not creating that. And then I'll just go next. Then see, I need to register my servers to this target group, isn't it? So here are the servers. So just select these servers, the VMs that we have created, AWS VMs, guys, which are working as web servers anyways, and just say include as pending below, so that they will be included as pending. Why? Why pending? Because once this target group is created, then only, and load balancer is created, then only they will be added in your target group. Correct? So I'll just say create this target group, and these 2 VMs will be added to the target group of your load balancer. So that's good. So amazing presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the appreciation. Right. So let's go ahead. And right. So then what? Let's specify the target group here. Okay. So now you don't see that target group, correct? So you refresh it and you will see it here. Now that you have created it, here it is, right? So you have specified the target group. So all good, guys. I don't need to give listeners tags. That is optional. Add-on services are optional. I don't need to do that. Load balancer tags again are optional. I'm not creating that. That's it from my end for this load balancer, guys. AWS load balancer, and then I'll create this AWS load balancer. Okay. So this is what is created, guys. So load balancer with the 2 VMs on AWS is good. It's done, guys. And if you will go to this load balancer, if you view this load balancer, well, it must be in the process of getting created. Once it is created, if you will copy the load balancer's DNS name, and if you put it in your browser, well, you will see the responses from AWS VMs. The website that is running on AWS VM will give you the response. It will give you the message, hello world, I'm from VM1, AWS VM1, or hello world, I'm from AWS VM2, based on whether the request is going to either VM1 or VM2 of your AWS VMs, correct? Just this part we are done with. Okay, so let me just refresh it and see if the load balance is provision. I can give you that link, guys. You can put it in your browsers, and we will see the response coming from VM1 or VM2. Okay, Route 53 will be the final step, of course. And before that, I'll also go to the Azure also, right? So while this load balancer is getting provisioned in AWS, let's go to Azure and let's create a load balancer, and let's create the servers and the load balancer in Azure, guys. So I'm already logged into my Azure portal just to make it fast for you, right? So here in Azure, like you created the VMs in AWS with a service called as EC2. In Azure, if you have to create your VMs, well, you have the service called as VMs in Azure that can help you to create VMs in Azure, right? So what I'm going to do, I've done this part, correct? That is the 2 VMs in AWS with a load balancer. Now I'm going in Azure and creating the 2 VMs in Azure with a load balancer in Azure. And then I'll come back to AWS and we'll do the final part of Route 53. What's the box on the screen? Which box? This box, na? I mean, so see, this, na? See, this box is multi-cloud high availability architecture. This first box is for Azure. The second box is for AWS. And then connecting them is Route 53 service in AWS. Correct?
Oh,
So this
I think they're talking about there is some dark gray box. Yeah.
is this the one?
Yeah, that one only. Yeah.
Now gone, na? Okay.
Yeah,
That
gone.
was- That was mine and yours video. Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry. I could have just placed it on my extended screen. So that's now gone. Fine. Okay. Good. That. So fine. Okay. I thought that's not visible to you, but that was visible. Fine. Okay. So now let's go and let's do the stuff on Azure side. Okay. And yeah, before I do that, let's see if the load balancer is created in AWS. Okay, it must be there. If it is created, I'll just show you the DNS with the DNS name. Yeah, so it is active now. So if I copy the DNS name of my AWS load balancer, guys, and if I give it to you in the chat window, well, if I put it on everyone, and you can just put it in your browsers, guys, and if I put it in my browser here, so what we can see is, we can see the response coming in some time. So see, hello world, I am from AWS VM2. Okay, so that means the load balancer has forwarded the request to my VM2 here in AWS, correct? So I'm able to see the VM2's homepage. Now, if I just refresh it, again, it is VM2. If I again refresh it, see, it is VM1. So now it is forwarding it to VM1. Okay. Correct. So VM1, VM2, see, sometimes it is going to VM1, sometimes to VM2, isn't it? Right, guys? So your load balancer is working fine and your VMs are also working fine. They are working as web servers. There you have deployed your website. The homepage of your website is saying, hello world, I'm from VM1, and hello world, I'm from AWS VM2. And then the load balancer sometimes is forwarding the traffic to VM1, sometimes to VM2. Well, that's the task of your load balancer, to balance the load across your VMs. Correct, great. Okay, so half of our demo is working, right? So now let's get to the second half and do the same thing in Azure. Okay, so I hope it is clear till this point. So now in Azure, let's create the 2 virtual machines again. So now I'll just say create a virtual machine in Azure. I'll create the first virtual machine here. Okay, so see, in Azure, whenever you are going to create your virtual machine, you have to do it inside a subscription and a resource group, guys. Being a Microsoft certified trainer, I have access to MSD and platform subscription. When you create your account, you get a subscription, and Microsoft is going to charge you on that subscription only. So, but then the point is that whenever you are going to create your resources in Azure, you have to create it inside a subscription and a resource group. So I'm going to create a VM here. So I have to put it inside a subscription. I'm good with this MSTN platform subscription. And then the resource group, I will create a new resource group. Maybe, let's say I will just create, let's say RG1 resource group or LBRG1 resource group. That is load balancer RG1 resource group. So resource group is a logical container for holding your resources. That's it. And then I'll give my VM a name. Okay, so I can just say AZ VM1, that is Azure VM1. Now, again, I can select the region where I want to create this VM. So, guys, I can create my VM again in any region, let's say East US or East US 2 or any region, guys. So, your choice. You can put it in any region. So, let's say I'll go with East US region. You can go in any region, guys. That's not a problem. Okay. Then, just for high availability, as I said, that I can put my VMs in different availability zones. Okay. So, let's say I put this first VM in availability zone 1. In East US, and then the second VM, I'll put it in availability zone 2. Okay. So let's go with that. Then I'll just go with the standard type here. I'll not get into the details of that right now because of time crunch. Now, image is what? So I'll just go with either Linux machine or Windows machine, guys. Well, AWS provides you a support for creating a Mac OS machine also, but that has just came 1 year. I mean, not more than it has been less than 1 year since AWS has got a support for Mac OS virtual machine operating system, but Azure doesn't have support for that. So here you can create Windows or Linux virtual machine as of till date. Since we have created a Linux VM in AWS, so let's go and create a Windows VM here. I can create any VM. Okay, so let's go with Windows Server 2016 data center. Okay, as the operating system for this VM. Okay, and then what? Architecture, I'll go with 64-bit architecture here. Then size of this VM, guys. So again, like AWS, you have different sizes. Like there, you have T size, M size, and so on. Here you have D size, B size, and so on, guys. So for different use cases, you have different size. D size, B size is for general purpose usage, normally for your small, medium web servers and database servers. But if you want, let's say, high performance up to 2 times performance boost, so you can go with F series. Okay, and whichever series you go with, guys, inside that you will have different options. Like D series has different flavors, different options. So let's say I'll go with D2S V3. That gives me 2 vCPUs and 8 GB of RAM capacity. So different sizes gives you different CPUs and RAM capacities. I'll go with D2S V3, which gives me 2 vCPUs and 8 GB of RAM capacity. Then username and password, guys. So I'll just go with the username. Let's say, so now username and password is important to connect to your virtual machine. So if I want to connect to my virtual machine, well, with this username and password, I can connect to my virtual machine. So remember the username and password if you have to connect to your virtual machine, guys. Okay, you can always reset the password if you don't remember it, but then you should have it to connect to your virtual machine. Anyways, I'll just give the username and password, guys. And again, as far as the inbound port rules, the security group rules is concerned, guys, the firewall will consist of security group, and then again you have inbound, outbound port rules. Outbound port rules will allow all traffic to go outside of this VM. Inbound port rules will decide that which traffic is allowed to get inside your virtual machine, guys. So the point is that since I'm creating Windows virtual machine, to connect to this Windows virtual machine, I'll have to allow the traffic to come from RDP, remote desktop protocol. So I'll say RDP, and then if I want to make this VM to also work as web server, of course, I want this VM to work as web server, guys. Okay, so I will have to allow traffic from which port? HTTP port, guys. So as I told you, to make the VM to work as web server, I will install the web server functionality on the VMs, plus I will allow the traffic to come from internet, the web traffic that will come through HTTP or HTTPS port. HTTPS is with secure. For that, I need the third-party certificate. I don't have that, so I'll go with HTTP port, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, that works on port 80. So I'll just enable traffic from port 80 HTTP protocol. And of course, RDP, if I want to connect to this VM, then I can enable RDP port as well, because this is a Windows VM. To connect to this VM from my laptop, maybe I can just enable RDP traffic, remote desktop protocol traffic. Like for Linux VM, you enable SSH traffic. For Windows VM, you enable RDP traffic. Good enough. Then this is good enough, guys. Then I'll go next disk. So see, in the disk option, this is the hard disk for your VM, guys. So you can go with any, in the disk, you can specify the disk for your VM. So this is the C drive. Okay, OS disk, I'll go with the default option, the hard disk for my VM. If I want D drive, E drive, other drives, I can create other disk as well and attach it, like D drive, E drive, wherein you can store your user data. Well, you can store your user data in C drive also, but that is not good because tomorrow if your drive gets OS gets corrupted, so you can lose on your data if you repair your OS or reinstall your OS. So that's why to put your user data, you should create other drives like D drive, E drive, and so on, like you do it with your laptops. Okay. Anyways, I'm not interested in that. I'm just good with the OS disk, wherein my OS files would be stored. That's good enough. And then in next networking, now I need to make sure one thing, guys. See, this VM has to be inside a virtual network and a subnet. That is for sure. Okay, I told you. So I'll go with default VNet and subnet. But make sure that if this VM is getting created in AZ VNet, VM1 VNet, so the next VM that I'm going to create should also be created in the same virtual network. Okay, so the next VM that I am going to create should also be created in the same virtual network, guys. Otherwise, my load balancer will not be able to balance the traffic across my what do you call it as? Otherwise, my load balancer will not be able to balance the traffic across my these two VMs, because the load balancer, the network load balancer, the Azure load balancer that I'm going to create has a limitation that it can balance the traffic across one virtual network only. Correct? So my both VMs has to be in the same virtual network. That's why. So AZ1 VM1, AZ VM1 VNet is the virtual network where my first VM is getting created. So this virtual network should be the same when I'm going to create my another VM. Okay. So that has to be in the same virtual network. Fine. All good. And HTTP RDP allowed. So that's good. And let's say review and create. And let's create this. Okay. So I'll just say review and create. Other options I'm not interested in. So I'll just say review and create, and I'll create this virtual machine, guys. So validation passed, and I'll just hit on create. And sorry, Rasha, it's taking time, but doing it fast, but it's
okay.
Actually a lot.
I can see the folks still here, so I don't think so we have any issues.
Okay, so let me tell you, I'm doing it fast, but then it's a lengthy scenario actually. Yeah. So fine. Thank you for allowing me to do it. So let's go ahead and let's create the second VM. And thank you guys for being here with me, right? Okay, so let's create the second VM then. While that first is getting created, okay, let's try to create the second VM. But the point is that I would allow that first VM to get created first. Why? Because I want that same VNet to appear. Because in Azure, you sometimes have bugs. That same VNet will not be visible to you while you will create the second VM. Sometimes, guys, it's the case. Okay, so I will just try to maybe go ahead and see to it. Once this is created, or maybe just a second more. Okay, while this is getting created, let's try to create the other VM. So guys, in Azure, there's a bug. You may not see that VNet again. I mean, that same VNet while creating the other VM, you may not see it. Ideally, you should be able to see it, guys, because you are in the same region. So you should see that VNet, but sometimes you don't see it. So then the option is you need to refresh and come back again, and then sometimes you see it. Okay. Anyways, this VM has got created. So now I'll create the other VM. So I'll just say create another Azure virtual machine. And I will just go in the same resource group maybe, and the name I'll say AZVM2. And then guys, in East US, same region, but in different availability zone, I'll go with availability zone 2 because I am interested in providing high availability to my VMs by creating them in different availability zones. Okay. So first VM I created in availability zone 1, second VM in availability zone 2 in what? In Azure, correct? Right, guys. So then what? Data center, I mean, same Windows Server 2016 I'll go with for the operating system, same size D2S V3, same username and password. That is, I can give different username and password, guys. So I'll just go with the same username and password, by the way. Just for the purpose of remembrance, anyways, I don't need these username and passwords also, guys, because I can connect to my VMs and install the functionality, web server functionality like IIS functionality, or I can do it with the help of a script also. I'll do it with the help of a script, guys, just to make it fast, because connecting and then installing would be a slower thing. Okay, so I'll just go with RDP and HTTP again here. That's it, guys. And just I need to make sure that ignore. Okay, that in networking, I should see AZVM1 VNet. Yeah, so you're good, my good. We are able to see it here, guys, AZVM1 VNet. So we are able to save some time. Otherwise, if I would have not been able to see it, then I would have refreshed it because of a Azure bug, and then again I would have came here. But I'm able to see it, so that's good, guys. HTTP RDP allowed. So just review and create this VM. Okay, so 2 VMs I am creating on my Azure. What happens if you select more than one zone? No, I mean, see, one VM can only be created in one availability zone. Okay, so ultimately it would be created in one zone only if you select 2 zones also. Okay, Daniel. I think. So if you're pretty sure you want to have it in AZ1 only, give AZ1. Otherwise, AZ2, so give AZ2. So now my second VM is getting created. Now, can you tell me what should be my next step, guys? See, I have created the VMs in Azure, but have I installed the web server functionality on these VMs? Since these are the Windows VMs, so have I installed the IIS functionality on these VMs? So I want to install the web server functionality in the form of IIS web server. Okay, so let's install the IIS web server functionality on these VMs, guys. So I have 2 ways of doing it. Either I can connect to these 2 VMs and install the IIS functionality by going to Server Manager. But guys, let me tell you, that would be a slower way of doing it, correct? And I want the things to work faster here. Okay, so I'll just go with what? I'll just go with a script to install the IIS functionality on these 2 VMs. Okay, so let's go with a script and do it, guys. So let's go to the first VM. Okay. And I'll go to the run command here and I'll give a PowerShell script to install the web server functionality on this VM. So what I'll do is I'll just go to run command here, guys. And I will just go to run PowerShell script and I will give that script here. Okay, so this is my script. And in this script, what am I saying basically? So I'm saying install Windows feature, name web server, include management tools. Then I'm going to the default location of this where it is installed, the web server functionality, that is in C initpub www root. That is where the IIS is installed. Okay, the default location of IIS, and there you have the homepage iisstart.htm, guys. That is the default homepage. So I'm going to replace its content. So I'm going to remove the contents from iisstart.htm and I'm going to put my own content there. So I'm saying add content, path is same, C initpub www root iisstart.htm, and what content I want to add here? So I am giving the value as hello world from let's say Azure, hello world from Azure from this variable I'm using environment where I'm giving the computer name. So it would say hello world from Azure from AZVM1, correct? So that's what I'm going to see as the website's homepage, correct? On this server. So let's run this script. And it will take some time to run this script, execute this script on this server, guys. And while it is being done, can you share the scripts, please? Sure, I am just putting it in the chat window here. Okay, the script. Okay, so now while this script is getting executed, guys, so don't refresh or don't close this page because otherwise the script execution will stop. Okay, so while this is being done, I will just put these, I am not going to wait here for this to execute. So I'm going to duplicate this tab and I'm going to run this same script on another server. But then the thing is that I'll be using the different thing here. Okay, so maybe, I'll be using the different message. So if you are unable to copy that particular script from the chat window, well, I'm giving to you the file also in the chat window. Now from this, you can copy it. You can take a screenshot, or otherwise I've given you that file. Now from there, you can copy paste, correct? Okay, so now I'll go to another VM. I hope you are able to copy paste from that now. So I'll go to another VM, VM2, and then what? I will just go to this particular run command. And then I'll say run a partial script and I'll give that script. I hope you are able to copy. You can confirm maybe, right? And here also I'll say hello world from Azure. I'll say hello world from Azure from From computer name, that is AZVM2, correct? So hello world from Azure from VM2. Okay, so I'll just run this. Okay, so this script is also getting executed, guys. Now, while this script are getting executed on my both VMs and making my VMs to work as web server, well, now till that time, what I'll do is I will just go and create the load balancer. I'll just try to go and try to create the load balancer in Azure, guys, correct? So now while I will try to create the load balancer in Azure, guys, so that is the Azure load balancer that I'll try to create in Azure. So one thing you need to make sure. So one thing, I will just show it to you. When I'm creating a load balancer in Azure, guys, that is an Azure load balancer. So see, when you are creating a load balancer in Azure, na guys, so you have to make sure that you are creating these 4 components, which are very necessary. If you create these 4 components, you have created a load balancer in Azure. That is the front-end IP for a load balancer, where the load balancer will receive the traffic from the internet, correct? Okay, so this front-end IP will be a public IP address, since the load balancer will receive the traffic from Route 53 and Route 53 will get it from the internet. Okay, so this has to be a public IP address. If it would have been a private IP address, then load balancer would have been able to receive the traffic from internal resources of Azure, not from over the internet. So this front-end IP will create for our load balancer. Then load balancer should also send the traffic to the VMs, the 2 VMs. So that 2 VMs we need to add to the backend pool of the load balancer. Like in AWS, we added it to the target group of our load balancer. Here, the term is backend pool, where we need to add those VMs. Okay. And then, of course, guys, the load balancer should check the health of those VMs in the backend pool, so that if one VM is not working, which is hosting your same website, let's say Zomato website is hosted on these 3 VMs, and if one VM is not working, so the load balancer should stop sending some users traffic that it was sending to that VM, and those users traffic it will send to the other VMs. Okay. So with the help of health probe, it will check the health of the VMs and will make sure that the VMs which are working, which are running, it is sending the traffic to those VMs only. And then with the load balancing rules, you will map all these things together. That is the front-end IP with the backend pool and the health probes, correct? So this is how it works. So these 4 components, the front-end IP, the backend pool, the load balancing rules, and the health probes, if you create them in your load balancer, you are able to create your load balancer fine. I'll not go into the details of that, guys, correct? So let's go and let's create these 4 components, and let's just create a load balancer, correct? So anyways, the script execution has succeeded on your VM1, and your VM1 is working as a web server now. And on VM2 also the script execution succeeded, and your VM2 is also working as a web server now, guys. So let's go to the load balancer. Okay. So I'll just go to load balancers and I will create the Azure load balancer. Yeah. So Aditya, if you are able to download it, well, from that downloaded copy, you can copy the text. Fine. So guys, let's create the load balancer. And those 4 components, sorry. So those 4 components that I told you, you need to create those components. So first the resource group, I'll go with the same resource group. Then the name for my load balancer, I'll say my AZLB1, Azure load balancer 1. I can give any name. Region East US, because my VMs are in East US. Now SKU will decide the type of the load balancer. So I'll go with standard load balancer, guys. I can go with basic also. But then the problem is with basic load balancer, it cannot balance the traffic across the VMs in different availability zones, but it is free of cost. But standard load balancer can balance the traffic across VMs that are in different availability zones also. And standard load balancer can balance the traffic across across 1000 VMs, whereas a basic load balancer can have 100 VMs only in its backend pool, can balance the traffic across 100 VMs only. Well, I'll go with standard here because I have my 2 VMs in different availability zones. Then type is, of course, I'll go with public because this load balancer will get the traffic from internet. It will get it from Route 53 and Route 53 will get it from the internet, correct? So public type. Tier, I'll go with regional because my VMs are in same region, East US. It can, with global, you can balance the traffic across different regions maybe, right? Okay, so I'll go with regional and then I'll go with next front-end IP configuration, guys. So here, see, I'll create that front-end IP for my load balancer. See, I was saying the front-end IP I'll have to create. Okay, so I'll say add a front-end IP configuration. I can give any name. Let's say I'll give LB PIP1, okay, as the name. And the same in public IP address, I can say create new and I can give the same name, guys. Okay, LBPIP1. Standard is the SKU of this load balancer. SKU is stock keeping unit, guys. So it's like in layman's terms, I would say SKU is a product on sale which has different shapes and sizes of it available. Let's say if we go to market to buy a particular shirt, so we have particular sizes of it, or a t-shirt, maybe large, extra large, and so on. So those are nothing but the SKUs. So in Azure also for different services, you have different flavors. Like with load balancer, you can create standard load balancer, basic load balancer. So those are the SKUs. Once you create a load balancer of one SKU type, let's say standard load balancer, then you cannot change its type. Okay, fine. So that is also. So SKUs are immutable. Types you cannot change, right? They are not mutable. So anyways, I'll go with standard load balancer. I've selected that. So redundant is good. Microsoft Network is good. So I'll just add this. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't add it. Okay, I'll just say LB PIP1. I'll say okay. And this is added LB PIP1 and I'll add this. So this adds the front-end IP for my load balancer. Now the next component will be what? Will be the backend pool, guys. Correct. So let's add the backend pool. So in backend pool, I'll add those 2 VMs. Correct. So I'll create a backend pool. I'll say add a backend pool. I'll give my backend pool a name. Let's say BE pool 1 or any name, guys. You can give it. Now, of course, see, I told you the load balancer network, Azure load balancer is a network load balancer. It can balance the traffic across one in one network only. So I'll just put is at VNet 1 VNet. Okay. So I'll just give that here. And then of course, it should balance the traffic on my VMs, correct? So I'll just give the NIC card of my VMs, guys. So NIC card is associated with my VMs. So so see the load balancer will receive the traffic on will give the traffic on your VMs on the NIC card of your VMs because the NIC card are the network interface card that are associated with your VMs, correct? So I'll say add the NIC card. So here I will see those 2 VMs, correct? So you should see those 2 VMs. And you will add it, correct? So the 2 VMs are added to the backend pool of your load balancer. So I'll just say save. Okay, 2 VMs added. So you have added the backend pool also. Now, guys, next go to inbound port rules. And here what you'll do, here you will add the what? See, 2 components you have added, front-end IP, backend pool. Now the third component you'll add is load balancing rules. So in the load balancing rules, I'll say add a load balancing rule and I'll give it a name. Let's say LB1 or my LB1, my load balancing rule 1. I can give any name, guys. And then it will map everything, front-end IP to backend pool and help probe everything. So front-end IP, what it is? So we have given it in front-end IP configuration, that is LBPIP1. And that is yet to be created, guys. So once this load balancer would be created, then that would be created. So LBPIP1 to be created, but I can see it here. So I'll add that here. Then backend pool, again, B pool 1 is yet to be created. So once this load balancer would be created, then it would be created, but you'll see it here. So B pool 1. Okay. So fine. Maybe it's added already. Correct. So because you don't see to be created, so it is added already. So you are specifying it here. then protocol TCP. So load balancer will receive the traffic on what? Port 80, HTTP port, and will give it to the VMs in the backend pool again on port 80. So backend port again, port 80. Then health probe. So health probe, have you created the health probe, guys? Have you created the health probe? You can specify it here. Have you created? No, you have not. So you can just create it from here. So I'll just say, I'll give my health probe a name. Let's say HP1, anything. Okay. And health probe will also check the health of the VMs on port 80 because the VMs are receiving the traffic on port 80. And in how many seconds it would check the health of the VMs? Interval I can specify, let's say every 5 seconds. So I can change that number. So I just went with that number and I said created health probe. Okay. So that health probe got created. So this is good enough. And see, you have not specified that health probe also here, correct? So this is good enough, guys, and I will just save it. Okay. So health probe created and load balancing rule also created, guys. You have specified, you have mapped everything here. So you are all good. Now you create the load balancer. So next outbound port rules, I don't need tags. I don't need, I'll just say review and create, and I'll create this load balancer, guys. Okay, so I'll just create this load balancer. So validation passed, and let's hit on create the load balancer. I'm done from my Azure part, guys. Is it clear to all of you? Yeah. So is it clear to all of you guys? Yes or no? Right. So while this load balancer is getting created, guys, now I'm going to go back to AWS and I'm going to use the Route 53 service there. But before that, I will just go to GoDaddy and I can just log in with GoDaddy. Okay, I'm already logged in, so that's good enough, right? So in GoDaddy, guys, I'm just going to go with my domains and I'm going to use a domain. Where it is, maybe I'll just go with my domains, guys. My products I'll go with. Okay, and then I have the domain registered there with the name what? cloudcognoscente.co.in. See, I could have used freenom.com or any other domain registrar like Big Rock or any other, but Freenom gives you free domains, but now it is not allowing you to register new domains. Anyways, I have domains registered there also, but NS record propagation may be slower there sometimes. So I'll go with GoDaddy and I'm going to use this domain name. That is cloudcognoscente.co.in. Correct? So see, I have this domain. Correct? That is cloudcognoscente.co.in, guys. And I am going to use this domain. So I'll just copy this domain and I'm going to go to AWS and going to create this Route 53 service with this domain name. Correct? But before that, guys, before doing that, let's go to Azure and let's see whether my load balancer is created. So yes. And now, guys, I'll test it out with Azure also. In parts, we are testing it out. Correct? So our AWS part till load balancer was working fine. So now in Azure also, till load balancer, is it working fine or not? So can you tell how we can create DNS in AWS Route 53 itself? Correct, we'll do that. Okay, DNS in it. Yeah, I'll just show it to you. So you want to say how we can register our domain with Route 53. So you can do it. I'll just show it to you, but I'll not do that because that is chargeable. And yeah, so I'll just show it to you. Okay, fine. So here, in Azure Load Balancer, see, I'll just test out the Azure load balancing part first, whether that is working fine for me or not. Okay, so I'll just go to Azure Load Balancer, guys, and just copy the public IP of your Azure. Here you'll get the public IP address in your Azure Load Balancer, not the DNS name. So I'll just go to see more. I'll see the public IP address of my load balancer in Azure, guys. I can give you that, guys. So here I can put it here and remove the dot at the, the name at the end. And then if you copy it here, and if I give it to you, and if you put it in your browsers, guys, so what you will see the request going to one of my VMs. See, hello world from Azure from AZVM1. And in Azure, many a times it will send to AZVM1 only. And then very infrequently, I mean, it will not be very frequent that it will send it to VM2 immediately. See, because behind the scene, which algorithm it is using may not be round robin specifically, but now see, it goes to VM2 also for me. So it went to VM1 and now it went to VM2 also, correct? So my load balancer is working fine in Azure as well, correct? So is it clear? Yeah, it is sending sometimes the traffic to my VM1, sometimes to VM2, correct? So this part is also good. I can just close this now. Okay, so this part is also working fine, guys. Correct? Now let's go to AWS. Let's go to Route 53 and let's do the final step there. Okay. Sorry. So let's do that. So I'll just go to AWS where it is. Yeah. And let's go to Route 53 here, guys. Okay, so I'm done till this part. Azure AWS. Now I'm going in AWS and Route 53. Okay, and I'll say what? Hosted zones, and I'll create a hosted zone. So I'll just say create a hosted zone. And I'll give my domain name. So my domain name has to be the same which I have registered with any domain registrar. And if you have to register a domain with Route 53 also, as someone was asking me, okay, so then you can go and you can go here, domain registration in Route 53, and you can register for a domain here. Correct? If you have to register your domain name through Route 53 itself, which also you can do. Okay, so you can just search it here, whatever domain name you want. Of course, if you say google.com, it will not give you because that is not available. Correct? That is taken by Google. So you can just search the domain name which you want. And then if it is available, it will give you. Otherwise, you can go with the domain name that is available, and then you can search, and then you can go for it. Okay, and see, it is not supported. Okay, because co.in is not supported here. But then if domain name with TLD, top level domain, is supported and that is not given to anyone else, then you can get it from here. So from here, you can register your domain this way. I'm not registering the domain with Route 53. I've already registered with GoDaddy, but I'm using it with Route 53. So in Route 53, I'll go to hosted zones. Yeah. So I hope that is clear to you. I've just shown it to you, right? Anusha, sorry, not Anushka. Yeah. So yes, so I'll just say create hosted zone, and then I'll give the domain name here. Okay. So this is registered with GoDaddy. So that is good enough, guys. And this co.in, what is this, guys? .com, .co.in. So these are called as TLDs, top level domains. And let me tell you, they are deployed across the globe and are managed by ICANN. INA is the authority which manages these TLDs, these top level domains. Okay. In fact, all route DNSs are managed by IANA only. Right? Description is optional. I'll not go with that. And then I want a public hosted zone. I want the traffic from internet, correct? So I'll go with public hosted zone. Tags are optional. I'll just create this hosted zone, right, guys? So I'll just create this hosted zone. So this is good enough. I have created my hosted zone, guys. All good. Now see, when you create your hosted zone, you get two types of records. That is the NS record and the SOA record. So what are these records, guys? So NS stands for name server record. NS stands for what? NS stands for name server record, guys. And that is nothing but a combination of primary and secondary DNS server record. So SOA is start of authority record. Okay, so SOA is start of authority record. Okay, and it is nothing but a primary DNS server record. So it gives you primary DNS server record. Okay, and NS is name server record, which is nothing but a combination of primary plus secondary DNS server record, which is nothing but a combination of primary plus secondary DNS server records. Secondary DNS server records. And guys, both are responsible for domain name resolution, correct? So both are responsible for domain name resolution, for resolving names to IPs, correct? So now the point is that this here I can show you also. See, NS SOA record consists of this primary DNS server record, ns1309.awsdns-35.org, and the same record is present with NS record also. That is ns1309.awsdns-35.org. So this is the primary DNS server record. Plus there are three more records with NS records here that are the secondary DNS server records. Now the point is, guys, see, we will have to link our our AWS Route 53 with our GoDaddy, this domain name, correct? So how we can link it up, guys, I'll tell you. Okay, so but then we will have to link it up for this website to work. So we will copy these NS records from Route 53 and we will put it in GoDaddy in that particular records. Okay, so I'll just copy these NS records one by one and I'll put it in GoDaddy. So where I need to put it, I'll just show it to you. So I copy the first NS record and don't copy the dot at the end. That is after org, after .com. Okay, so go to your Cloud Cognoscente domain here. I'm going in here, and then inside this domain, what I will do is I'll just go to the domain and I will go to manage domain, manage DNS. Okay, I'll go where? I'll go to manage DNS. And I'll go to name servers, guys. Where I'll go? I'll go to name servers and see, I'll change the name server records here. Okay, I'll go put that Route 53 name server records here. Okay, so I'll just remove these name server records and I'll put those Route 53 name server records here. Okay, so I'll just put those name server records here. I'll just remove these which are already there, guys. And I'm going to put the Route 53 name server records here. So I'll put the first name server record, then I'll get the second name server record from here. I'll copy it from here and I'm going to paste it here. Then I'll get the third name server record. Then I'll get the fourth name server record, guys. Okay, so I've put the 4 name server records and I'll just save it. And I've not copied the dot at the end, like after com, after UK. Okay, so I'll say continue. Yes, I want to change these name server records, edit the name servers. So I'm done. It's success. Your request is in progress. It's still in progress. Hopefully, we will see this NS records to be propagated here. And then we'll see our website working. But it can take some time. It can take 72 hours also for propagation. But if it is propagated, we'll see the website working with this name. If it is not, then we'll not see the website working with this name right now. But then immediately, but later on, you'll see it working. But hopefully, we'll see it working right away itself. Okay, so anyways, this is how we have copied the NS records from Route 53 to Freenom. Now, guys, see, I'll have to give. So do you all agree with me that I'll have to give the load balancer's DNS name or the IP address also here in Route 53, because I want this Route 53 to balance the load across my 2 load balancers of AWS and Azure. So don't I have to give their addresses here in Route 53? Yes, I do have to give it, correct? So I will create a record set. I'll create 2 records, guys. That is the A record, guys. And let me tell you, A record is also called as host record, correct? So I'm going to create a record, which is also called as the host record, and this host record purpose is to resolve names to IP addresses again. So I'll create a record, guys. So first I'll create it for AWS. So I'll say a record, and I want this website to work as cloudcognoscente.co.in only, not like www.cloudcognoscente.co.in. So I'm not giving that subdomain name like www. But I am giving the same domain name, cloudcognoscente.co.in, and a record. And then I want to point it to my load balancer, correct? AWS load balancer. So I'll say alias as yes. And then I'll choose the endpoint as what? AWS, what? Application and classic load balancer, correct? And then region where it is in North Virginia, correct? So I'll just go with US East North Virginia, where my load balancer is, guys, correct? If it would have been in any other region, I would have been able to select it from here. Then the load balancer, I can see that load balancer because I've already created that and I can give it here. That's it, guys. And now routing policy. See, I told you there are different routing policies that are supported. So I'll go with which routing policy, guys? I want to show you disaster DR purpose also, disaster and recovery. So I will go with what? Failover routing, correct or not? Correct or not? So I'll go with failover. And then in failover, I'll choose the failover record type. So this AWS site, I want this to be my primary site or secondary site. I want initially all the user requests to go to AWS site or Azure site, AWS site, correct? So this has to be my primary site. So I'll say primary site, correct? And then this is all good. Health check ID, I don't need to give. Now record ID, I will have to give one. So this can be any number, I can give it. See, when you create records that you have a routing, that have routing policy other than simple, enter a value that uniquely identifies each record that has the same name and type. For example, you might assign a date timestamp or a sequential number. So I'll just assign a sequential number, let's say 1 here. And then to the Azure record, I'll assign a number as 2. Okay, so this is first record created. Now I'll add another record for Azure. Okay, so I'll say add another record before I say create record. And here again, a record, I'll say alias. I'll not say yes here, but I'll give the load balancer's public IP of Azure. So I'll get the public IP of my Azure load balancer and I'll put it here. So what is the public IP of my Azure load balancer, guys? If you go to Azure load balancer, see, this is the public IP of your Azure load balancer. Copy it and give it here. Okay. Remove the dot name at the end, guys. Okay. And this is the public IP of my Azure load balancer. And see, TTL is 300 seconds. That is good. Fine. So that's not a problem. Okay, fine. So this is good. This is fine enough. And that is time to live field. Fine. So caching, how much time it will cache in your server. And then routing. So I'll just go with what? Failover routing again, correct? And here, the record type would be what? Secondary, correct? So I'll say secondary. And then record ID, I'll say 2. That's it, guys. Okay. So is this setting clear to everybody? This is where the crux was of hosting multiple apps in Azure and AWS. This is how you do it. Okay. So is it clear to everybody? I hope yes. Can put a yes in the chat window. Oh. Okay. So maybe I'll just quickly review it because I saw one no. So see, I said what? Create a record, and then I said I said create an A record, and then I went with A record, and then first I pointed it to my Azure load balancer. So I said alias as yes. Then I said to application load balancer in Azure, wherein the load balancer is not Virginia. So I selected that, and I could see my load balancer there. Then I went with routing policy as failover, but I want my AWS side to be my primary side. So I said this AWS load balancer to be primary side. And that's it. And record ID, I just gave a number 1. And then I said create another record wherein I said the value, wherein I just gave the Azure load balancer IP here. Okay, so I went to Azure load balancer, I got its public IP address and I supplied it here. And then I said what routing policy failover, then Azure should be my secondary side. So failover record type secondary, record ID 2. That's it. And create the record set. Yeah, this similar Route 53 service is available in Azure with the name Azure Traffic Manager. Okay, right. We could have used that also instead of AWS Route 53, right? So now this is creating, guys. So records for cloudcognoscente.co.in were successfully created, guys. Correct. So see, you can see 2 records, 2 A records here. One for primary side AWS load pointing to AWS load balancer, one for secondary side, that is Azure pointing to Azure load balancer. And guys, you are all good with this. Now, I can give you my domain name cloudcognoscente.co.in and you can just put it in your browsers and let me know if you are able to see the request going to my AWS servers or not. Well, you may see it, you may not see it as well. Okay, so I'll tell you the reason for that. So you just put it in your browser and tell me, are you seeing the request going to my AWS VMs? Yes or no? Just put it in your browser and let me know, guys, quickly. Just put cloudcognoscente.co.in in your browser. I've just pasted the link in the chat window. If you put it in your browser, are you seeing the website running? Are you seeing the page? Are you seeing the request going to AWS VM1 or AWS VM2? Not yet, because the NS records are yet to be propagated then. Okay. So fine, that is. But then I will tell you why at all you may not be able to see it. Okay. So I can just go to DNS propagation and I can just show it to you. So if you go to dnschecker.org and if you put your this domain name here and you go with NS records here, guys, and if you search it here, well, you can see what? You can see all these are, that's why you're not seeing it. Okay. So you see all the red crosses here, guys. Now, what do you mean by these red crosses, guys? So that means the NS records are yet to be propagated, correct? So on the Freenom server. So on the Freenom servers, the NS records are yet to be propagated, guys. See, in Switzerland only it has been propagated, but not in other locations. Okay, especially in India. So if you're browsing it from Brazil, Malaysia, you'll be able to serve my website. Okay, but then in Delhi, it is showing now propagated. Okay, so maybe you can just see it in some time. Okay, so if the NS records are not propagated in all the locations, well, it can pose a problem to access that particular website, but because it can take up to 72 hours as well for the NS record for propagation, guys. Okay, so it can take that time, of course, and then you can see that running as well after that is done. Okay, but that is okay. Because see, our individual websites with the load balancers were working fine. So with this also, it should actually run fine, guys. Correct. But even if it is not running, well, it can take some time to run in. Okay. So but then after that, it will start running, guys. Okay. So but then these are the steps how it is to be done. Okay. Fine. Right. So these are the steps how it is to be done, guys. I'm just checking out on my mobile. Okay. So these are the steps how it is to be done, guys. Correct. So is it clear till this point? Maybe we can just hold on. See, it can take up to 72 hours also for the NS record propagation. Correct. So by the time maybe if Rasha can go through the other things. So if till that time, if that gets propagated, then you will see it running. If that doesn't get propagated till that time, well, then also it is okay.
So
it can take up to 72 hours.
It's actually working for them. They're replying on chat.
Okay. From Qatar, it's working. Now propagated. Okay. Working now, they are saying. Okay. So for me, it's working. So maybe are you from the same location from Dubai? It's working. Okay. So the NS are actually working in Dubai. So maybe not from India location right now, but from Dubai, from Qatar, it's working now propagated. Okay. So from India, working in India also, is it? So that's great then, right? Working from Kolkata. Okay. So that is great if it is working now, guys. Fine. So that's great. So you have it running then, right? Okay. So that is good enough then for me, guys, right? So it's working for you all then. So is it working for all now? From Netherlands, it's not working. Okay, it can take some time. Yes, working in Chandigarh, correct? So, and I told you, see, you can see these NS records. Okay, I mean, if that is propagated in your region, it can take up to 72 hours also to get propagated in the GoDaddy servers in different regions. Correct. So if they are propagated, well, you will see them running. See, in US, it's not yet propagated. But if they are not propagated in some regions, it is yet to be propagated. It can take up to 72 hours as well, or maybe half an hour, or maybe 10 minutes to get propagated. So based on that, but we can see that in many of the regions, it is working. Okay, but switching between AWS VMs. Okay, so yeah, so it is working now, but it is switching between AWS VMs only. Correct. So that's what the point is, right? So because why it will switch between AWS VMs only? Can you tell me the reason why it will switch between AWS VMs only? Why it will switch between AWS VMs only, guys? Because that is the primary site, correct? Because that is the primary site. That's why it will switch between AWS VMs only, correct? So that's why it will switch between AWS VMs only, correct? So now if I'll shut down my AWS VMs, so then it will switch between Azure VMs also, correct? So if I'll shut down my AWS VMs, then it will start working in Azure VMs as well. So Rasha, do you have it working at your location? I mean,
let me just quickly check. It was not opening for me. I am located in Bangalore, India. So maybe let me try in an incognito window.
Yeah,
just
please.
Once.
No,
why?
Because
it's not working for me.
So maybe Rasha, working in Portugal. So maybe if it is fine, can we just give to one of our participants the access to share their screen so that I mean, and then just I'll get that screen back.
Sure. Who would like to share their screens? Can you please let us know in chat or raise your hand? I'll just give you the access for folks who would like to share their screen.
To anybody's screen where it is working, right? From it
is working for you. Please do let us know. I can see Akeem. It's working for Akeem. John. Okay, I think Praveen has raised hand.
Okay. Can you just give it to Praveen or maybe anybody, team?
Okay, I'll just giving it to Talhat. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I'll just promote you to panelist, and you should be able to you should be able to share your screen.
Yeah. So can you?
Also
I'll
speak
stop
as
sharing.
you can
I'll
unmute
stop.
as well, Thala.
Yeah, Sathala. So please, can you just share your screen and you can unmute yourself as well, right?
So you will see a share screen option. Yeah, that's okay. You can just share your mobile screen, the screen basically of the website.
Yeah.
Where you opened it for. So if when you're sharing a screen, you can just select that particular screen of your mobile and share it with us. You can unmute yourself also if you want to talk.
Why
Yeah,
I want you to share your screen is that everybody should see it. That is one reason. And then the other reason is I'll just shut down the AWS VMs then, and then the request will go to Azure VMs only.
I think sharing it. We are not able to see the screen yet of the website. Can you take us there? If you comfortably can speak also. It's okay.
Hi, sir. I shared my screen now, but it's really difficult to share because I'm using the mobile cell phone because of that.
Got it. Anyone else who's using web? Maybe we can just raise your hand. I can see who's using web. Would like to share.
And now, even if it is working in Bangalore, so Rasha will not be able to access it maybe because that is cached in Rasha's location. I mean, on
I can
Rasha's
see
laptop.
I can see Anusha. Anusha, would you be able to share through web? I'll just give you the access. Thank you so much, Talat. Thank you so much for volunteering for it. You can stop sharing your screen, Talat. I'll just make Anusha the panelist.
Yes, please.
Okay, Anusha, I've made you the panelist. Now you should be able to unmute yourself also and also share your screen. If you need some guidance, you can unmute and speak. Feel free.
Yeah, sure. I can share my screen. Yeah,
please
sure.
do that.
Also, Anusha, you have gotten very many great questions from you in the Q&A box as well. So I just noticed. So.
Anusha, we are not able to see your screen. Yeah, now we can. Yes. So as we can see, guys, Anusha is saying, hello world, I am from AWS VM2. So request going to AWS VM2. Now, when she refreshes it, so it will also go to VM1.
Yeah, I'm just trying.
Yeah, you can just refresh it again. You can just refresh it again.
One more time. I was actually looking at it like earlier it was working with both VMs.
Both VMs, it will go. You can refresh it multiple times, or you can just copy that same.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So see, hello world, I'm from AWS VM1. So guys, I hope with this, it is very clear that you can see the URL cloudcognoscente.co.in. It's going to AWS VM2 and AWS VM1, sometimes to AWS VM2, sometimes to AWS VM1. So this is great. This is working fine. But it is not going to Azure VM. It is not at all going to Azure VM. Why? Because Azure VMs are my secondary site. So I want that Azure VM to become my primary site. So for that, I will have to either stop the Apache service on my AWS VMs, or I will have to stop my AWS VMs. So then the Azure site will become my primary site. So can you please stop sharing? And then I will just, then again, I will give you the screen. Okay. So I'll just, or otherwise I will, this will stop. Yeah. Okay. So now guys, I'm again sharing my screen, and now see what I'm going to do is, I hope you can see my screen. So I'm going to go to AWS and I am going to shut down these VMs, correct? So where is it? Where is it in AWS? I'm going to go to EC2 instances and I'm going to shut down my EC2 instances. Okay. And then the traffic will start going to Azure VMs. Okay. It would take, I mean, initially it would say, I unreachable, and then it would go within a matter of 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so first I will just stop these two VMs. So I'm just stopping these two AWS VMs, guys, correct? So that the traffic that was going to my AWS site will stop going to my AWS site, because the AWS region, it would take it as it's down. And then the secondary region will become the primary then. Okay, so I am just stopping it. Let it get stopped. Okay, so as you can see in this diagram, now primary site will be off, and then secondary site will become primary. Then, so I am just refreshing it. Just a second, guys. Yeah, so now you can see it's stopped. So now I request you to share your screen back. Can we have your screen back? Yeah, thank you. So now see, it says 503 service temporarily unavailable, correct? Now you refresh it multiple times, and I mean, in a minute or so, it will come back. And this time it will go to my Azure VM. Yeah, gateway timeout will come up now. Why? Because see, it's like, see, you are working with disaster recovery kind of scenarios. Your one region has gone down. Take it like that. So how fast it can switch back to the another region, that is when this timeout will go out. Okay. So right now it is just pinging to your primary VMs only, primary site only. The secondary site has not become the primary site till this time. This is the downtime that you are facing with your website. But anyways, this downtime is good enough for a few minutes, because see, I mean, regions don't go down on an everyday basis. And if your region is going down, well, you can wait for this much time. This much downtime should be acceptable to you, correct? So this much downtime is acceptable. It will come up. Okay, just wait for 2 to 3 minutes, and then it will come up. Start pinging Azure. Yeah, so now it has came back. So refresh it. It will come back for you as well. Okay, I got it. Shamna saying, okay, so fine. Shamna has got it back. Anusha is yet to see it back. Okay, so maybe Anusha, you can refresh it again.
Yeah, I keep refreshing.
Yeah, it will come up. It will come up, but then it takes time for you.
Anusha, where are you joining us from?
From California.
Okay.
Okay. It's taking time from California, isn't it? From Qatar also it's working. And guys, for those for whom it's now running, you would see the request going to only Azure VMs now, isn't it? Well, it will go to Azure VM1, and then after many refreshes, it can go to the another Azure VM as well. Well, and that was it from my end. This is just what I wanted to show. And well, if it gets visible in your screen, it's good. Otherwise, you can just get anybody else's screen, but it will show up in your screen. But it's just that it can take some time. It is taking some time. Normally,
anybody else would like to volunteer for sharing their screen if it's working for you?
You can do one thing more, Anusha. You can just copy that link and just open it in incognito window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working now for her. Okay, so you can see, guys. Yeah, hello world from Azure from AZVM2. If you do multiple refreshes, then only sometime you do it multiple times refresh. Sometimes you will see the request going to VM1, or you can just copy it again and put it in another incognito window and freshly open a new window. And of course, and then you do a multiple refreshes. And then only it will go to VM1 sometimes, because in Azure, it strictly doesn't follow that round robin as the algorithm behind the scenes. That's why it's not going immediately to VM1 after VM2. but then in some time it will go. Anyways, that is supposed to go. For some users, it's already going, right? So you can just copy it once, and you can just copy this and open another incognito window, and then do this multiple times, refresh, and then you would see it then. Okay. Anyways, this will go for others. It is going to VM1. So that is it from my end. Right, guys? So I hope you got it, right? So it's working fine. And then, guys, this is a very important scenario. You can just apply it in your real-time environments, isn't it? It's dealing with multi-cloud app. It's dealing with disaster recovery, correct? So now you can have how much robust your application can be working in different regions, failover scenarios. So this can be of absolute importance in your real working, correct? That's it, Rasha, from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Purushottam. And also thank you, Anusha, for helping out.
Thank you.
And other
Anusha.
folks as well who actually wanted to volunteer. Talat as well. Thank you so much, Anusha. For folks, thank you. Well, so for folks who would, I know that you would want to go through this recording again. I think a few of the folks were asking about it on chat. So I'm just sharing. So we are live on YouTube as well. So there's a YouTube video which will be live as well, apart from the recording link which you'll be getting post the webinar. So I'm just sharing that link here in case you want to view it later and want to go through the project demo once again. Now moving on, I'll just share my screen back. Okay. Now moving on, what exactly is stopping you from becoming a cloud computing and DevOps expert? I'll just quickly launch this poll. You can see a quick poll on your screen. This is an MCQ question, so you can choose multiple choices here. So we would love to know what is your biggest concern here. And also, thank you so much, folks, for staying till the end here of the session. We have extended the session a bit, but thank you so much. We would like to address all of your queries. And we'll just go towards the Q&A session pretty quick. So if you have any questions, I saw great participation in the chat as well. So thank you so much for that. Now moving on to the next part of the session, program review. And please do tell us like how was the project demo on chat?
Yeah, okay, guys, certainly. Would like to know from you. How was it? Like, did you liked it? Did you got it? Did you find it interesting?
I can see Talat saying one of the best mentor ever. I agree to that.
Yeah, actually, your appreciations keeps me motivated. Like when I keep on telling my learners, and because guys, I'm very passionate about it. Okay, so I think that I would like to tell here to do good in any field. I believe on two principles basically. That is the patience and the passion. Okay. So I think I have both of them in this field, and I have patience to listen to learners' queries, and I'm of course very passionate about it. So that's
we can see that because but basically I don't ever see like basically mentors going beyond their time limit. Even the last time also you went, but that was basically for providing them as much knowledge as possible, right, about the demo. So we saw that passion for sure, and I think we can see that from the appreciation which is coming in on chat here as well for you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot, Rasha. Yeah. So yeah, you can.
Okay, I think we have gotten the responses here on the poll. So let me quickly end the poll and share what is the biggest concern here when it comes for you to taking up cloud computing and DevOps, basically certification and becoming expert in that. So again, I think we can see that we have gotten a lot of votes for I wouldn't get the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And I think we have gotten half of the votes for I can't find a fully comprehensive curriculum in a program, and the third one, my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning, and few of the folks have voted for I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now moving on to the IIT Guwahati's professional certificate program in cloud computing and DevOps. We actually covered such interesting projects and many more like this in this program. As you can see, how Dr. Purushottam has passionately covered it and given a really good, clear, and simple explanation of it. And we have many more projects like that, which I'll be sharing in upcoming slides. So in this, you get a comprehensive and industry-aligned learning path. And as I said, there'll be integrated labs and projects for hands-on experience for folks who are looking for that experience when they're transitioning into this field. Also, you'll have access to online virtual classrooms with live instructor interaction. And this program will be flexible to fit your schedule with just 8 months of duration, and you can just give 10 to 15 hours per week to complete this certification. The eligibility for this program, you don't have to be from a non-programming background. And maybe you can have a little bit knowledge of the basically programming background, a high school diploma or an equivalent to at least 18 years of age, and you don't have to have a work experience in this field for basically taking the certificate.
And once you are done with this, guys, so these are comprehensive 2 market leader cloud platforms that you will cover, that is Azure and AWS. Then you can go with Cloud Computing Bootcamp Capstone project. So similar to these projects, like one of them, we have just seen it, correct, which will use the services of AWS and Azure both. And right, so that's how you can go about it. And once you do that, then you will get the certification that you are here. I mean, you will go for, correct, the final certification. And of course, the electives are there, like Caltech Cloud Computing Bootcamp Masterclass. You can also opt for, correct. So you will get the the lectures from the Caltech. You can attend that. Okay. So that is elective. That is up to you. If you want to go for that, that's okay. Otherwise, you can leave it as well. Right. So that is there. So there'll be project hours that would be dedicated to that, right? I mean, to your course. Right. Okay. Sure. Right. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Purushottam, for taking us through the steps. I was on mute. So we have cloud computing skills basically, which open many career paths, as you can see here: cloud architect, cloud database administrator, cloud engineer, cloud security engineer, cloud developer, cloud DevOps engineer. And you basically need up-to-date skills to be a cloud practitioner. As you can see, these many skills which you can take up. But Purushottam, can you let us know where someone can start from? If there is a Zilama, right, where do you start? There are so many skills to take up, right? Maybe you can give one example.
Okay, yeah, just one example I'll give. So you can start with practitioner, and guys, like if you become a practitioner, so it's like getting the fundamentals of the cloud, let's say AWS or Azure, and then you don't have to be master of all these traits. So you can be a jack of all, but then many services. Okay, so you can start off first you can start off with AWS in this, and then you can have the know-how of different services, like application migration, what are the services in AWS, web services in API, performance testing, auto scaling, how you can do. So there is an auto scaling service, so with which you can automatically scale your VMs up and down, plus identity and access management, wherein you can create the users and manage them on AWS cloud platform, cloud migration and deployment. Okay, so how you can do migration of your data servers from on-premises to AWS. Okay, which services are supporting that? Okay, multi-cloud deployment, as we have just seen it, database management, correct. So which are the database services? Like for relational data, you have RDS. For non-relational data, you have DynamoDB. Okay, for graph databases like Facebook, which uses it, so you have Neptune kind of a service in AWS. GraphDB is like you are friend to someone is friend to someone else, and you get the suggestion that do you want to friends to be that person to that person. So that uses graph databases. So all those services are there, like in database management, for graph databases, for NoSQL databases, like spreadsheet data, for relational databases, storage services, like for object-based data, you have S3 bucket. For block-based data, you have EBS volumes. For file share data, you have EFS storage. Okay, then disaster recovery services, cross-region replication. Okay, all these you can. So the point is that when you start as a cloud practitioner, you get the know-how of these services, different services. You don't have to be very good in the detailed stuff, but then initially you start with the know-how, become a practitioner, and then you can explore it more and go with architect and admin stuff. Okay.
Thank you so much, Purushottam, for taking us through that. I think we're running out of time, so I'll just quickly take you through the tools and platforms you will be learning in this program. So Amazon EC2, Amazon DynamoDB, AWS Lambda, Amazon S3 and Azure Resource Manager, and many more tools and platforms you'll be getting to cover in this program. Also, the capstone projects, I think this project being one of the industry projects which we have basically done a demo for, but capstone project also adds basically to the resume when you basically are getting job ready. You want to showcase to your future employers that you have worked on some kind of real world experience project which you can showcase in your portfolio. And as I said, the industry-based hands-on projects for your portfolio as well will be covering this program. I think we have covered the deployment of multi-cloud app today. And also we have covered the Azure and AWS connection architecture through a VPC as well, and we'll be covering the third one as well in an upcoming session next month. So we will basically covering all these project demos, and also you'll get access to all these projects to add to your portfolio through this program. So that is how interesting it is. And we have global leaders and program advisors. Dr. Gaurav Trivedi being one of the global leaders from IIT Guwahati, who basically makes sure that we are delivering as per the standards from Simplilearn when it comes to the course. You get job as a services by Talent Inc. as well. In this, you get access to the premium Resume Rabbit job portal and a resume review and rewrite service, and also a one-on-one interview service as well. So please let us know your interest towards the enrollment into the professional certificate cloud computing plus DevOps program by IIT Guwahati. You can see a quick poll on your screen. You can see two quick options there, yes and no. Please let us know. Would you like to enroll into the program of professional certificate program of cloud computing plus DevOps by IIT Guwahati? I can see the interest already coming towards the enrollment, so that's great. I'll keep up the poll for 15 seconds more for a few of the folks who have not voted before we basically go towards the end of the session, and also share the enrollment steps and the program fee and structure, cohort, all these things about the program. So quickly go and vote towards the poll which you see on your screen right now. Would you like to enroll into the program? You can see two quick options there. I'm seeing really great interest towards the enrollment, so that's great. And also we have gotten really good participation, even though we have extended the session from the audience who have joined us here. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for having so much patience. And also I can see that curiosity and passion towards learning the cloud computing and DevOps program as well, through the project demo itself. So we will be covering these project demos during other webinars as well, and also a complete project for a portfolio, a caption one also will be covered in this program. So that's pretty great. Let me just quickly check. Okay, I can see most of the folks have already shared their interest. I can see a lot of interest towards enrollment. That's great. So I'll just end this poll in 10 seconds. So few of the folks who have not voted, please go quickly vote. I'll be sharing that. I'll be sharing the course fee. I can't get your name from your email ID. Please let me know your name. So I think I'll just end the poll in 5 seconds because I can see most of the folks have already voted. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me end the poll. Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to the enrollment steps. So you just need to follow 3 simple steps for enrollment. All you need to do is you need to submit an application, apply at askit@simplilearn.net. Based on that, your application will be going for review, and you'll be getting admissions call from Simplilearn consultant based on the application review. The program fee enrollment schedule for this one is 1,24,999 including taxes. We have financing options available as well as low as 4,254 rupees per month. For folks joining from different countries, you can go and check out about the program in the website. I'll be sharing that link on the chat to know basically what is the fee for the program in your country. And the cohort for this one is on 3rd of October. The induction and the classes will be starting on 7th of October. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us and ask us at simplilearn.net. I'll be sharing that email ID on the chat as well. Also, just to let you know, we have very limited seats per cohort. So we only take 25 to 30 folks per cohort in order to make sure that you're giving all the attention that is required, and getting all the attention in terms of when you're pursuing the course. And also for folks who have already shared interest towards enrollment, I would recommend for us to let know that when do you plan to enroll. So you can see a quick poll on your screen. So when do you plan to enroll? So this will give us a better understanding, when do we need to reach out to you for the enrollment. And also, you will be getting a bonus offer for attending this webinar So do not miss out on that, even if you're planning to enroll maybe within 6 months or more than 6 months from now. You can choose those options as well. And folks who are joining to basically planning to join immediately, you can select the first option. And within 3 months, if you're planning, if the second option, and as I said, if you basically are still thinking about it, but you're interested towards enrollment, so do not miss out on the bonus offer. So you can select the third or fourth option within 6 months or more than 6 months from now. So I'll just give 5 seconds more for this poll because I can see folks have already basically shared when they do the plan to enroll. And I can see from the Q&A part that basically we have answered most of the questions from the Q&A as well. And I think we were getting a lot of messages. It was pretty engaging on the chat. So I'll just close this poll in 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll. Thank you so much for sharing. The Q&A part, as I said, that I think we have taken most of the questions about the presentation. I think, is it possible to share the presentation? I'm so sorry, we don't share the presentation, but the recording of this webinar will be getting post-webinar over mail. I've also shared the live YouTube link as well, and also the YouTube channel where you can find such of the webinars, past recordings there. We uploaded on the videos in the live section. And I think we have answered most of the questions here. So we are towards the end of the session now. So before we end the session, I would love to know that do you need assistance towards enrollment into this program? For folks who have shared their interest and also have let us know that when do you plan to enroll? So do you need an assistance into the enrollment of the program? So please do let us know in this quick poll here you see on your screen. I do have a quick, basically just a quick survey question for you towards the end of the session. I'll just share that once we are done with this poll. And just want to say to Dr. Purushottam, thank you so much for taking out time, the extra time. And I can see that passion while you were explaining it. When you asked me, like, do you want me to continue? I was like, the audience wants it. Like, they decide if they want to see it or not. And I saw that basically engagement from the audience as well. They were still there. So would you like to say something before we end the session?
Yeah, so thanks a lot. Actually, see, I'm really thankful to you. You allowed me to continue, guys, and to Rasha, to you also, right? Okay, so it was great being here, guys, and it was great to share some knowledge with you. Hope I have given you something good here for your time that you have spent with us, right? So hope to see you there in the program. And thanks a lot for joining in. Thanks, Rasha. Yeah, that's it from my end. All the best for your careers. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I just have a quick survey for you folks. We would love to know basically what kind of webinars would you want to see from Simplilearn? So what topics or areas of interest would you like to see covered in future webinars? This is a multiple choice question poll. We have a lot of options here, as you can see. You can select multiple options. This will give us an understanding if you would like to see these categories of webinars in the upcoming months from Simplilearn. Similar to the project demo one, the project demo plus program preview one, which we have done with Dr. Purushottam twice now, which is very interesting from the basically the interest we are seeing from the audience here, from the folks. You're getting to learn something new, getting an idea basically what program covers, right? Like how do they cover these projects, which basically helps you get a job, right? So I can see folks have started sharing what exactly they want to see. So I would love to know basically what do you want to see so we can bring that for you in the webinars. Okay, I can see a huge vote towards one option particularly, which is not surprising considering the project demo which we have covered today. So the interest towards the project demos. Fine, I'll give 5 seconds more for a few of the folks who have not shared. Please do let us know what areas or topic of areas of interest would you like to see covered in future webinars from Simplilearn. So I'll just give 5 seconds more. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your suggestions here. If you can't see the options, basically, if you have something else to contribute, you can DM me here as well or send me on chat. I'll look into that. And as we can see, the program project demos have gotten 75% of the votes. And we can see the second highest being the basically trends, industry specific insight trends. That is upcoming. We're doing those in November and December for sure. We'll be covering trend section. And I can see the interview preparation one getting also like 50% of the votes. And other being like soft skills, I can see, and career advancement strategies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this. We'll try to implement this in the upcoming webinars by Simplilearn. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll be ending the session now. I can see Anusha. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your screen. Thank you for helping us out. We usually don't do that in webinars, but thank you so much for helping us out. And great audience interaction. We would love to see you, Dr. Purushottam, again in the upcoming webinars. I think we have planned something, special in the next month as well. You'll get to see Dr. Purushottam in another project demo. We'll be covering that from the program. So thank you so much, folks. Have a good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you're joining from. Thank you.
Thank you.